video games have a wide range of genres and systems that define those genres. Players have struggled with or not completely understood combat mechanics in games. Let's change that. Let's build the deck. I suggest watching the entire video, as there may be details you are not aware of. If you have a suggestion for what game should get a building the deck, please leave a comment or like comments that have suggested games you would like to see. Playing this again has reminded me once again how difficult Xenoblade games are. Not that I'm complaining, but man, understanding how to truly play these can be a chore. I'm sure you noticed there is no game title. This is the starting screen before you have a save file. This start screen changes at different points of the story. I'll let you discover those if you decide to play the game. Bring in the combat example. A few things. The Nintendo Switch 2 came out while I've been making this video, so you will see the game on the Switch 1 and Switch 2 for this video. Also, I used multiple saves to get clips for this video, so if you notice discrepancies in menus, items, characters, that is why. During this battle, you will hear attacks being yelled constantly, quick time events happening, combat being paused for special attacks, different colored lights orbiting the enemy spinning in mid-air, and item drops to claim, and if left there too long, will disappear. I'll get to it all over the course of this video. Quick caveat, this fight is pretty long because it is a named unique enemy, and I may have bumped up enemy health specifically for this fight so it would stay alive long enough for me to showcase the combat mechanics.
Let us settle this superb.
Tora, Poppi, you're at Tora right on time.
Basic controls. Out of combat. By the way, all controls will be Nintendo Switch oriented as this game is only available for the Switch. This is a quick overview of the basic controls. I'll be coming back to some of them as there are some details I'd like to point out. Left stick to move. Right stick to move the camera. Hold L and move the left stick up or down to zoom the camera. Hold L and move the left stick left or right to pan the camera up or down. By only this much. Hold L and press D-pad left or right to pan the camera left or right. It is not the biggest change, but you can do it, for that classic over-the-shoulder camera. Pressing D-pad down resets the pan to default. Feels kinda pointless since you're one button press away from the default anyway. Press B to jump. You'll actually need it during your playthrough. A talks to NPCs and interacts with stuff.
What have we here?
Press the left stick button to toggle the size of the minimap. Press the right stick button to reset the camera behind your character. R targets the closest enemy. Change targets by holding R and press Y or A. Hold R and press B to remove the targeting. ZL is Blade Switch. Switch between the 3 equipped blades for the active character. Blades are characters that are equipped to your main party members that give them their attacks, elements, etc. We'll be getting into blades later. So this lets you choose which blade you will start combat with. ZR shows the current quest objective. Assign quests to track that can be checked here instead of going into the menu. Press Y while moving to activate auto run. Press Y again to cancel auto run, or just move the left stick abruptly in any direction that is not the direction you're running in. So if you want to do a 180 during auto run, move the stick in the direction you're going, then rotate. You can't flick the left stick in the opposite direction. X is the shortcut button for the map. Detailed information on the map will be later in the video. Press the plus button for the main menu. The minus button is the shortcut for the system menu. Review these controls by pressing D-pad right. Note, opening this window does not pause the game, and there is also a page 2 if you press D-pad right again. Press D-pad up to check camera controls. Now for the overview of the combat controls. The detailed talk will be later. Press D-pad left to look at combat controls. It also has a page 2. Note, you can't open these controls during combat as the D-pad buttons now do new stuff. In combat, left stick moves the character of course, but notice the movement speed is much slower. Right stick moves the camera. The before mentioned camera controls also work here while holding L and moving the left stick and pressing the D-pad buttons. Stand close enough to an enemy and do nothing to auto attack. Every character's auto attack has 3 hits, if you let them play out. The second and third hits will do a bit more damage than the previous hits in the combo. Notice new UI elements are now on the bottom left and right of the screen. The left side is D-pad buttons, and the right is the face buttons, the A, B, Y, and X buttons. We'll start with the right. X, Y, and B use the active character's arts. They must be charged with auto attacks to be used. The symbols of the arts help you understand some of their effects, and so do the words under each art name. This will be explained later. A is for specials. They are charged by using arts and have multiple tiers of strength denoted by the Roman numerals. There are many details I'm glossing over here. After the basic controls, we'll go over UI, and then after that we'll go into the nitty-gritty details of everything. To the bottom left, this is the active character's equipped blades. Press D-pad up, right, or down to switch to different blades. Notice when the blade is switched, so do the character's usable arts. There are attacker, tank, and healer blades, so as you can surmise, this gives you some hints as to what type of arts a blade will have. For now, know the arts that are usable are based on a blade's weapon type, and each playable character has different arts available for each weapon type. The other blades must charge up before you can switch to them in combat. This happens over time. There are ways to speed up blade switching, charging arts, and charging specials. We'll get to each of these as the video progresses. D-pad left is not a blade, it is the focus target button. Press this to have the entire party attack the currently targeted enemy. You can change your target freely, but the rest of the party will not join you in that pursuit. Instruct them to do so. Press R to target the nearest enemy. Hold R. Okay, who saw it? The art section on the bottom right has switched to targeting mode. Press Y or A to cycle between targets. Press B to sheath your weapon so you can flee combat or reposition yourself. Do know that putting your weapons away resets the charge for blade switching, arts, and specials. Oh, we also have ZL and ZR. These are used to tell your AI teammates to use a special to help with starting or progressing a blade combo. I have tons to say about blade combos later. The plus button starts at chain attack. This can only be used when the chain attack meter is full. This lets you choose any blade to use a special with. then cycles through your 3 party members, one at a time. Chain attacks can even be extended beyond the initial 3 special attacks. Before we get into UI, for those who are watching, I have already left out a spoiler within this basic controls overview, and there will be more spoilers in the future. For those of you that have already played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm sure you noticed, and if you didn't, I won't call you out. I'll go over it much later in the video. There will be spoiler warnings before every spoiler, and remember I put the timestamps of the spoiler moments in the intro of the video, and they can be found in the video description. Time to go over the UI out of combat and then the UI in combat. There's not too much more to go over since the basic controls are tied to quite a lot of what can be seen on screen. The compass in the top center of the screen. Use this to help you locate quest targets. No, moving toward the icon while it is in the center means you are moving towards the target. The higher the number, the further away from the target you are, so conversely, the smaller the number, the closer you are. There are more details about the compass I'll go over later. To the top right, the name of the current location. This location name is the name of the location on the map indicated by this symbol. The symbols above the minimap. The first symbol is for the weather. It changes based on what weather is happening in your current location. The symbol directly to the right is the time of day, and then we have the literal time of day. This last one only appears in certain locations. This little diagram indicates the current tide. There is low tide and high tide. Certain areas are only accessible at certain tides. Change the tide by choosing long rest at an inn. Of course, the minimap below all of these. Then the blade switch and current objective I mentioned earlier in the corners. When targeting an enemy, new UI elements appear on screen. The enemy's nameplate, the information for each member in the party on the left, and the targeting reticle on the enemy. This spinning part on the reticle is also very useful. I'll get to that later. When in combat, the enemy nameplate, character information, and target reticle are still on screen. All information on the top right is gone, including the minimap. The chain attack meter appears and has 3 segments. Then there are the blades with their focus target button, and the available arts to use with the special button. When an enemy is aggroed, a red line connects the enemy to one of your characters. This means that enemy has aggroed them and now there is a red circle around them. This character will be the one getting attacked unless a different team member builds more aggro than them. The yellow light on the red circle points to the enemy the character is being attacked by. It is possible for multiple characters to have aggro for different enemies, of course. The goal really is to have one party member sustaining aggro for all enemies. Enemies will target you via proximity or sight. Proximity is simply being close enough to them, and sight is when they physically see you. For sight, you do still have to be close enough to them. Enemies will also not aggro you if your level is sufficiently higher than theirs. 2 new pieces of information appear when using certain types of attacks. Use an art that has the break status on an enemy. A pink bar appears on the top left above the enemy's nameplate and slowly depletes over time. Once it depletes fully, the enemy loses its break status. This is how you start a driver combo. We'll be going over the break, topple, launch, and smash driver combo in detail later. But driver combos offer you a way to heal, do extra damage, assist with maintaining blade combos, giving your party a reprieve from being attacked, and potentially get even more item drops without having to defeat the enemy. Just know this is where the timer for it appears for now. Also, those of you that played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 will know what this combo is, and you'll already have noticed some differences. I've already made a building the deck for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, if you'd like to check that out later. When you use a special on an enemy for the first time, you now get the blade combo information, and the party special requests appear when applicable on ZL and ZR, if a blade combo has been started. Blade combos allow you to do bonus damage, seal certain abilities of enemies so they are not usable, and add elemental orbs that orbit an enemy. These orbs are tied to chain attacks and give enemies elemental resistances, reducing damage they take from certain elements. There is so much to unpack for driver and blade combos. I'm excited for that explanation, but now is not the time. There is also a blade combo timer here, above the enemy nameplate on the right. If it depletes, the current blade combo ends and you must start over. There is a way to extend this timer and refill it. We'll get into the details once the mechanics discussion begins. If you did not think there was already a lot of information coming up, let me add another piece. During combat, you will notice a screen like this, or words like this. that say a driver combo word along with a blade combo attack name. This is a fusion combo. Use a special while a driver combo status is on the enemy to do a fusion combo. Fusion combos give you more bonus damage, and if an enemy is defeated with a fusion combo, you earn bonus experience. While attacking stuff, there are numbers, different color numbers, words, and symbols. White numbers are the damage you dealt to an enemy with your controlled character. Blue numbers are the damage the other party members do to enemies. Red numbers are the damage your characters took. Purple numbers are spike damage. This is essentially counter damage related to various passives. You, the player, can do this damage to an enemy, and enemies can do spike damage to you. Orange numbers are damage over time, also known as dot damage. Damage over time effects happen by doing certain blade combos. I'll talk about spike damage and dot damage later. And these normal looking damage numbers with this gold spiky effect. This appears when you fulfill an art's bonus damage condition and can be seen during some specials. And green numbers represent how much a character has been healed. Words like topple x heat have to do with driver and blade combos. I'll discuss them later. The driver combo statuses will appear when they are applied to enemies. Note, pink backgrounds like break or blowdown indicate a status that has been applied to an enemy. Words or phrases like draw aggro or arts plus are blade arts from your equipped blades. Miss, an attack missed. Evasion, an attack has been evaded. This is an effect of some blades and their arts. Once all enemies are defeated in combat, you get your various points. The sword is WP, the weapon points you earn. These can be spent to upgrade arts. The purple star symbol is the points that are used for a driver's affinity chart, and the EXP earned in orange. The experience earned towards drivers gaining a level. Since we are on experience points, some EXP is sent to a bank, that bank being the inn. When you rest at an inn, you'll notice there is some experience you can use to level your characters. Don't forget to check the inn from time to time to see if you can get some more levels, because you will want them. If you lose a battle, you will respawn at the nearest fast travel point, or if you lose to a boss, it respawns you to just before you started the fight. It is time to get into all the details. Raise your hands if you're excited. Just me? Okay then. Starting with the out of combat UI. The compass. The numbers above an icon indicate how far away or close you are to your objective. The higher the number, the further away it is, and the lower, the closer. There can also be an up or down arrow indicating you are not at the appropriate elevation. If an up arrow, look for a way to reach a higher elevation, and if a down arrow, find a way to go lower. Sometimes the way forward is not painfully obvious, so do some exploring every once in a while. There are also a few different icons that can appear on the compass. The red icon with 2 exclamation marks is the main story quest. A blue icon with a question mark is an unclaimed side quest. Go talk to the NPC and get it unless you are purposely ignoring the plight of the citizenry. A blue icon with an exclamation mark is a side quest target. It is an objective that belongs to an already claimed quest. Sometimes you can see this X with the name of a nation next to the compass in red. This means your currently tracked quest is not in the current region. Check what it says next to the X to know where you need to go. Note, any question marks, exclamation marks, or main quest icons only appear on the map for the nation you're currently in. They cannot be seen if you navigate to a different nation's map, unless you first travel there. The map and quests will have its own section later within the video.
That was
The diagram for the tides will look different if it is high or low tide. The icon for the weather. There are various types of weather in the game, and some named boss enemies only appear within certain weather. The icon for the time of day and the numerical time of day. These can be changed freely by going to change time in the system menu. Press the minus button, or the plus button and choose system. The minimap. You can see side quests and main story quests here, along with all other map icons. Side quests are blue diamonds and main quests are red. You won't be able to tell if it is a claimed or unclaimed side quest via the minimap. They are all the same blue diamond. CL for blade switch. I'm sure you noticed, but the blade following your character also changes. ZR for current objective. Sometimes there's multiple pages. Press ZR again to cycle through them. Press Y to open the details for this specific quest. When targeting an enemy, the character names. You can see their level, name, HP is a number, and the green bar is their HP. The segmented yellow bar is the experience to next level for that character. Enemy nameplate has their level, name, and the symbol on the right is what element the enemy is weak to, so they will take bonus damage if hit with it. This means the enemy is of the opposite element to this symbol. There are times when an enemy's element will change mid-combat and the game will say, the enemy's element is now water, but the symbol on the right becomes the fire symbol. Since they are water, they are now weak to fire. This element change occurs due to the enemy becoming enraged. The enraged status happens when an enemy is around half HP, and you can tell here on their nameplate. The targeting reticle. You can see the enemy level and the spinning arrow things on the top and bottom. Level also changes to this double sword icon when the enemy is attacking. Note, if the targeted enemy is off screen, the red diamond will help point you in the right direction, based on what side of the screen it is on. Now, look at the spinny part. I mean, look real close. It can be in different colors. These colors indicate the level difference between you and the enemy, and oh my god, for moments like this do I love the internet. It saves me so much work. Look at this. I love not having to make things myself, because I have for other guides on this channel. Note, this information is dependent on the level of the current player-controlled character. Red, enemy's level is higher by 6 or more levels. Yellow, enemy's level is higher by 3 to 5 levels. White, enemy's level is within 2 levels, higher or lower. Blue, enemy's level is lower by 3 to 5 levels. Black, enemy's level is lower by 6 or more. Level differences affect how much experience is earned for defeating an enemy, damage dealt by the enemy's attacks, party members' attack accuracy, and enemies' resistance to statuses such as break and topple. There is even this table showing you the percent differences. There is a link to this in the video description. Let's get into this combat UI. Spoiler alert, this is going to turn into a full explanation of all the combat mechanics right now. We'll talk about how to equip blades, the passives they and party members have, and everything in this menu later. The most unfortunate thing about this game, all of the game's text tutorials cannot be viewed again after you read them initially. So if you played through this game and did not use or remember some of the mechanics you were told about, I blame you for nothing. But I will now due to this guide and the fact that I took screenshots of every piece of tutorial text, named and organized them, and put them all in a folder you can view and download in the video description. Now, I will blame you. Back to the lower left. The blades as they dictate a ton of how your party works. I'll actually be touching a bit on some menu options we'll get into later to make this discussion smoother. Each playable character can equip up to 3 blades. Know that when you start the game, you will be limited in playable characters and even how many blades you can equip per character. These things increase as you progress the story. If you'd like to know at what point you unlock the ability to equip more blades or when party members join, please check the video description. You have the lovely faces of your blade companions. Their element, there are 8 elements: fire, water, ice, wind, electric, earth, dark, and light. I also put these icons on the screen. The thought cloud, or ideas. I'll talk about them later, but the color of their icons are the colors of the different blade elements. I thought it was a nice touch. The blade's name, and a weapon symbol. These weapon symbols correspond to the ones seen on this character page. Some blades have unique symbols, as their weapon is unique to only them, and there are generic weapons that a slew of blades can have. The weapon does indicate which class the blade is: attacker, healer, tank. The blade following your character is the one you start combat with. Now, notice there is a pink line that starts at the top of the blade's picture and starts to fill clockwise. This is the timer for how long it will be until you can switch to another blade. Once it fills, their picture will highlight, and then you press the corresponding D-pad button to switch to them. We'll go over some methods to speed up blade charging later. Now to the arts. Oh, before I continue with that thought, the element symbol in the center of the arts is the same as the element of the current blade you're on. This is going to be some bouncing back and forth between different mechanics. This game's mechanics play off each other a ton. When combat starts, no arts will be available to use. Charge them with auto attacks. Each hit charges all arts. A pink line starts from the top of the icon and fills clockwise, just like the blades. Once filled, the art is usable. Press the corresponding face button to use it. Arts have various properties and symbols. The actual image of the art can tell you something about how it works. We'll get into all art symbols later. There's also a shorthanded text description of the art next to it. Let's look at Pyra's Sword Bash. It says back attack with an up arrow. This art does extra damage if it hits an enemy from the back. The up arrow means the art does extra damage if you fulfill the condition it says next to it. In this case, a back attack. Now look at Sword Bash's symbol, the big splash effect that goes from right to left. This means it is a physical attack, and the sword symbol on it. Look, I know I said I would talk about these symbols later, but did you listen to my wording? I said we'll get into all art symbols later. I didn't say I would not talk about some of them. Because I did that to you, let's keep things fair. If I misword or say something incorrectly, please call me out. Please keep me humble. Please do it to confirm I'm a human being behind this video. An AI will be so correct it's scary, or it will be so uncanny or wrong it's scary. Please find the humanity in me. Not all is lost to the AI overlords. The sword symbol on Sword Bash. This symbol also tells you this art does extra damage from behind, but honestly, this symbol can mean a few different things. Here's the detailed description in the menu. Anchor Shot. This art has the topple symbol and a green bottle icon. If this art hits an enemy that has the break status, it will be toppled. When this art hits an enemy, a HP potion will fly out of the enemy and land on the ground. Walk into it to heal some HP. We'll get to the break topple launch smash driver combo soon. Specials. The right icon here that you use with A. These also must charge to be used and are charged by using arts, and you guessed it, the pink line starts from the top and fills clockwise. Once it fills, you can use the level 1 special for your blade. And notice if you don't use your special, the bar continues to fill. Once it fills again, it becomes the blade's level 2 special. Specials can be built up to level 3. The higher level the special, the more damage it deals. There's a level 4, but it works differently. I'll tell you about it very soon. Specials can have different AoE properties, and some even provide a heal. We'll go over more of these details during the main menu characters section of the video. When you use a special, there is a quick time event also known as a QTE, where you must press B at the right time to increase the damage a bit. Press B when the circle shrinks into the light blue section for excellent, and in the dark blue for good, or press it too late or too early to miss it entirely. During a special, when you get hit, there is a barrier that reduces damage, and repels some enemies when they strike it. Be aware enemies can do the same to you with their blade specials. Yes, some enemies have their own blade companions. Blades also have a level 4 special, but it is built up differently. A driver in Blade's Affinity must be capped out to charge a level 4 special. So let's talk about this blue line that connects the driver and Blade. If both characters are standing near each other, they are increasing affinity. If too far apart, the line goes away and affinity will stop being gained. Once they've stood next to each other long enough, the line turns gold, meaning their affinity is capped out. When affinity is gold, movement speed is increased and arts recharge faster, along with giving access to special level 4. Watch as the special is level 3 and the pink line moves steadily and fills clockwise. No actions are required, just wait. Then the Roman numeral changes to 4, and this special does even bigger damage, and you get a cool cutscene like this. Keep in mind the fact that you get this special cutscene moment, because it will play a bit of a role in something we will be talking about in a bit. Note, the level 4 special will only charge while auto-attacking or moving. If you are using an art, the meter stops building. The special will go back to 3 if you switch blades, no longer have max affinity, or you move too far away from your blade, cutting the affinity link. You'll have to charge the special back up to 4 from 3 if any of these happen. While we're on affinity, and I brought up blades again, let me go over blade arts. These are periodically used during combat and are buffs a blade provides their driver. Here are Pyra's. You can tell when these are applied when it says so over the character on screen like this. Arts canceling. This mechanic will speed up your combat. Art cancel by pressing the button for an art as soon as an auto attack hits an enemy. You've succeeded when you get this sound, with this light blue ring that grows outward from your character. An art cancel will charge a special more than using an art normally. Also, If you cancel an auto attack with an art with one of the later hits of the combo, the art will do a bit of extra damage. You can cancel into more stuff. Use a special as soon as an auto attack or art hits an enemy. Go from auto attack, cancel into art, cancel into special. Let's go even further. Make sure you have 2 blades available. Pay attention to what happens during this example. Did you notice the cancel into the second blade and that all its arts were charged and ready to go? When you switch to a new blade, all their arts are already charged. This really helps to facilitate driver combos, or if you need some quick heals, they will be at your disposal immediately. This is also a way to quickly charge specials. Note, canceling into a special will interrupt animations. Be sure to time when you use the special, otherwise it will not cancel so you do not get the bonus. Notice how there is no cancel sound or ring in this example. Remember, during a special, the character gets a barrier to reduce damage, so you may want to use specials to help reduce some incoming damage you weren't ready for. So canceling some attacks mid-animation can be useful. Now, for canceling arts into arts. This is an ability you must unlock for each character. Go to a character's affinity chart and look for Arts Chain. This lets you use a driver art after canceling a driver art. So you can do stuff like this. While we're here talking about charging things faster, there are various ways to speed up everything I just talked about when it comes to blade switching, arts, and specials needing to charge. Also, a few nuances I'd like to bring up. Let's go back to auto attacks. Watch these auto attacks charge this art.
Let's go!
Is this too slow for you? How about this?
So, Bricks, you put your feet up over there. All right, Gramps?
Moving your left stick during the auto attack combo resets the combo. So once the first auto attack hits, flick the left stick. Baby, watch that art charge. Much better. Some weapon auto attacks work better for this than others. And let me tell you, doing this makes combat run so much smoother. If you need heals and are taking tons of damage consistently, this technique keeps you alive. I played the beginning of the game on Bringer of Chaos difficulty, which I'll discuss at the system timestamp, with a new game and played some of the beginning as a regular new game, meaning not New Game Plus, with the focus on just spamming story quests. Doing this auto attack staggering to charge arts proved imperative to my success. It is very worth it. Please learn this and thank me later. Blade switching. Speed it up. As I was writing this part of the script, I did a search on the fandom wiki for blade switching. Each blade in the game has a base cooldown, so some blades naturally cool down faster than others. This is not the full list, and I cut the blade names off on purpose. Trust rank. As you use blades in combat or send them on Merc missions, they gain trust points. This can be checked in a blade's affinity chart. We'll go over this chart later in the video. Each upgrade in trust rank reduces the blade's cooldown by a set number. Fast blade switch Aux Cores. This accessory that can be equipped to a blade lowers cooldown time by a set percentage. Overclocking bangle. Shortens cooldown time relative to the number of arts ready after a blade switch. This accessory makes a blade that is switched out start their cooldown timer with a percentage of the cooldown gauge already filled up, depending on the number of driver arts that were fully recharged before triggering the blade switch. Speeding up arts. We already went over auto attack resetting / staggering. Pouch items. I'll get into details later, but these are items that provide various effects and last for a certain amount of time. One of those effects is recharge arts by 0.1 each second. The arts charge automatically over time. You can find better versions of this effect, and some pouch items come with more than one effect. Gauntlet accessories. Boost recharge for special after canceling by 20%. When you cancel into a special, it recharges an extra 20%. The instrument pouch items have specials recharge 1.0 each second, so specials will refill automatically over time, and you can find better versions of this effect as well. Blades themselves can have ways to manipulate these things too. Sometimes these effects are unique to a single blade. I'm basically telling you to read what your blades do. I'll remind you again later in the actual blade discussion. Okay, we're done with speeding up charges. Let's go over driver combos. Earlier I said when you use a break art, a timer appears above the enemy's nameplate on the left. Break is the first status in a driver combo. The order is break, topple, launch, and last is smash. The break status lasts for 10 seconds. Hit an enemy with the break status with the next art type, topple. Then, while topple is active, launch, and then smash. When an enemy is toppled, it lasts for 5 seconds, and the party's attacks do 25% extra damage. When launched, the enemy comically spins uncontrollably. It does not matter what size the enemy is, they will spin. This effect lasts for 5 seconds, and party's attacks do 50% more damage. While launched, land a smash art. This sends the enemy crashing to the ground, dealing even more damage. Look at its HP drop after being hit with a smash. The party's attacks also do 50% extra damage during a smash. Since there is no timer for smash like the other driver combo statuses, I'm not sure when the extra 50% damage no longer applies. I'm going to assume the bonus applies up until the enemy settles onto the ground and stands back up. I have flashed the art symbols for break, topple, launch, and smash in your faces multiple times at this point. I hope you've been paying attention. Note, each of these statuses can be applied by any member within the party. One character does not have to apply all 4 by themselves for a driver combo to work. This just means you may be relying on one of the AI-controlled party members to hit one of their statuses. Each party member has access to each driver combo status in one way or another. Wait, just as I said this, I decided to check. Morag actually has no launch options. Each party member has access to each driver combo except for Morag. She has no way to use a launch art. But let me be honest with you. There can be a little RNG to whether a character has access to any of these. The RNG is not super terrible, but it is RNG nonetheless. Let me explain real quick. The break, topple, launch, and smash statuses come with a blade's arts, so you must equip various blades to gain access to the full set for your party. And with blades being different elements and classes, it can get tricky to find what you want to equip for a party composition. Keep this in mind as the video progresses because there are more pieces to this puzzle. It is going to get more complex than this. There are 2 more effects that occur due to driver combos. Who noticed? I'm looking around. When an enemy is toppled or launched, a medium HP potion pops out of the enemy onto the battlefield. Notice the size of this HP potion. Remember, there are arts that also drop HP potions, but those are small HP potions. Driver combos are a nice way to help supplement your heals. When an enemy is smashed, a large HP potion appears, and with the added bonus of the enemy dropping items from its loot table. This can still result in nothing good. Completing a driver combo all the way to a smash is actually a great way to grind items. This method will help you fight fewer enemies in total, since they can drop items infinitely, until they die, so they can't drop anymore. Driver combos are done. Now, blade combos. Remember, this is when you land your first special on an enemy. This diagram on the top right of the screen is the blade combo. How it works is straightforward. It does not matter what level the first special is. Once it hits, a blade combo starts from the beginning. The timer to perform the next part of your blade combo is shown by this meter above the enemy's nameplate on the right. If it depletes, you must start the blade combo over. The flashing diamond here on this element symbol is indicating that you are on the first stage of the blade combo. Now, to move to stage 2 of the blade combo, you must use a level 2 special, or higher, of either one of the next elements, the one above or below the initial element. Once it lands, the flashing diamond moves to the element you chose. For the final part of the blade combo, you must use a level 3 special, or higher, for one of the last 2 elements. To commemorate the completion of a blade combo, you get this action shot performing the last special.
Even though their games are very saying that they're both third-person games,
Now look here at the last part of the blade combo tree. Each one says seal and then an effect. Once a blade combo is completed, two things happen. First, the seal. This seals that ability for the enemy you completed the blade combo against. So, Seal Blowdown will add a seal that prevents your party members from receiving the blowdown effect when hit with an attack that would, well, blow down, which is just being knocked down essentially. Blowdown lets the enemy get some free hits on you without the character being able to do anything. The second is this elemental orb that orbits the enemy. It is the same element as the last element used for your blade combo, and is tied to chain attacks. This will be discussed after seals. Note, when a blade combo is started, it only counts for that specific enemy. If you switch targets, you must start a blade combo on the new target. Blade combos deplete whether you are actively targeting that enemy or not. Now, you do not need to finish a blade combo all on your lonesome. Your party members can help. The other characters charge their own specials as well. Press ZL or ZR to tell a party member to use their special. Their portrait appears and the banner is in the color of the element for the blade they are currently on. But how do you know what level of special your AI teammates have built up to? That is these spinning lights. If there is 1, they have special level 1. If 2, it is special level 2, and if 3, it is special level 3. Unfortunately, they do not have access to special level 4. Note, your AI teammates will switch blades if able to help fulfill blade combo element requirements, but they will only stay on blades for so long, so be mindful of when you start your blade combos. They will not stay on that element you want or need forever. There's also a name in the party member banners, but I'll go over that later. Let's go over the rest of the seals, and after, I still have more information for blade combos, plus some tips for these seals which are important to consider. Note, each seal is associated with a specific element. Specifically, if the blade combo is finished with that element. Seal Self-Destruct. Fire. Some enemies self-destruct themselves, so avoid that effect with this seal. Seal Stench. Water. Stench is a status that enemies can apply to you. This is indicated by this greenish cloud on the character. It makes the party member smell so bad that it makes their blades move away from them. This makes you stop gaining affinity. The blue line connecting them goes away. Use this seal to stop this from happening. Seal Shackle Driver. Earth. This status prevents your characters from using their arts, specials, or switching blades. They are unable to revive party members, but blades can still use their blade arts. It lasts for 6 seconds. This is indicated by these red chains. This seal will prevent enemies from applying this to you. Seal Back Attack Lightning. This prevents enemies from using specific arts, namely when one of your characters is standing behind an enemy, because some enemies will use a specific art if a character is standing behind them. So, either don't stand behind them at all, or use this seal to prevent it. Seal Blowdown. Wind. Prevents an enemy from inflicting a blowdown, which knocks you down. There are also different levels of blowdown that can knock characters away further. Characters hit with blowdown can't perform any actions until they hit the ground and stand back up. Seal Shackle Blade. Ice. This status prevents blades from switching out and stops specials from being used. A blade's block rate is nullified, preventing them from blocking attacks, which can be quite devastating for tank blades, and temporarily breaks affinity, making affinity not increase and slowly drop. You can still use a character's arts though. Lasts for 15 seconds. Seal Affinity Down. Light. This status immediately lowers affinity by 400 according to the wiki. Seal Reinforcements Dark. Some enemies like to call in extras to help defeat you. Use this seal to stop extra enemies spawning in. Those are all the seals. Note what element you end a blade combo on. The seal is determined by the final element. Seal Blowdown is always wind, Seal Shackle Blade is always with ice, and there is a different blade combo tree based on which element the blade combo is started with. Here is all of them, and you can find this information in the video description. Note, you can see the currently active seal in the top right corner of the screen. This seal affects all enemies currently in the battle, and will affect any additional enemies that join. The seals sound amazing, yes? Unfortunately, there can only be one seal active at a time. If you finish a blade combo and start another and finish it, that seal overwrites the previous one. So if you really want that seal to stay on the enemy, you must purposefully not finish any more blade combos. Now, I've just hit you with a tough truth. It was tough for me because I thought these seals would open up so much more strategy. They kinda do, but not in the way you would think. It is likely you will not make much use of these seals. I suggest using them for bosses or unique monsters. An example, if an enemy summons reinforcements and that is stopping you from winning the fight, put the seal that prevents reinforcements from being summoned, but make it the last blade combo you perform. Do a chain attack, then the enemy should be defeated or close to being defeated. So, hopefully, the seal will prevent any mishaps when the enemy is at low health. You are currently missing information for this to make complete sense. This will make more sense with what I'm explaining next. When a blade combo finishes, an elemental orb is placed on the enemy of the element you finished the blade combo with. It simply orbits the enemy and is the color of its element. This elemental orb now adds a resistance to this element for the enemy, so you will now do less damage with attacks of this element. It is possible to have one orb of each element on one enemy, so that is a maximum of 8 orbs. That does mean completing that many blade combos, which is often unnecessary, difficult, and the enemy is likely to be dead before you can. There are also ways to add extra elemental orbs when completing a blade combo, but we must discuss the next mechanic first. These orbs stay forever until broken during a chain attack. Chain attacks do big damage as they allow for a lot of specials to be done in a chain. You wanting the damage from chain attacks is why you will not use the seals very often, if at all, because you're completing multiple blade combos, and is also why I said if you want to use a seal to help you win a fight, make that blade combo the final blade combo you're going to do before starting the chain attack, so the seal you desire will be active once the chain attack finishes. Remember, only one seal can be active at a time. If you were to activate your desired seal early in the fight, you would just overwrite the seal with a different one while setting up for your chain attack. Keep these words in mind as I explain chain attacks. Under most circumstances, once you get used to the combat, the fight will be over during the chain attack, or the enemy will be low HP, so you won't need more full blade combos. When the chain attack gauge has all 3 segments filled, press the plus button to start the chain attack. Note, the chain attack meter depletes while no actions are taken and while out of combat. All combat stops, and you get to make some choices. Now, you get to select a blade for your first party member, and they will use that blade's level 1 special. Pay attention to the Roman numeral over here as this plays out. Note the cooldown status for blade switching, and if the character even has a special built up or not, does not matter. All 3 blades are available to choose from at the start of a chain attack. There have been a few new things added to the UI. First is on the left middle of the screen. This timer shows up when you start a fight with a named unique enemy. There is a section for unique boss enemies later in the video. It says damage times 534%. The damage of the special you choose will be increased by this percentage. This percentage will go up over the course of the chain attack as you perform more specials. Look below the enemy nameplate. Your elemental orbs from your completed blade combos are displayed here. Select a blade, their level 1 special is used. When the special is used, its damage is dealt to the enemy, and when it is done, there is an extra sound.
Magnificent, magnificent.
This is an elemental orb being attacked. Your goal during chain attacks is to destroy the elemental orbs. This yellow bar in the top left corner, as orbs are destroyed, it fills. We'll get back to this in a moment. Each orb has a HP value of 3. When an orb is hit with a special, it takes 1 damage. If the orb is hit with its opposing element, it takes 2 damage. The opposing element being you choosing a special from a blade that is the opposing element. Here are the opposing elements: fire, water, ice, wind, lightning, earth, dark, light. In this example, I use Wulfric, whose element is earth, so its opposing element is lightning. So the lightning orb takes 2 damage. Note, if you use a special that is of the opposing element of an orb, that orb will guaranteed be attacked. So, in this example, the fact that I chose earth guarantees the lightning orb will be attacked. If I were to choose an element that has no opposing elemental orb available to attack, my choice would hit an orb at random for 1 damage. There are more nuances to help you understand what orb has the potential to be attacked and how much HP an orb has. Here's what an orb looks like at each HP amount. 3 HP, so undamaged it's glistening. 2 HP, which has lost its sheen, and 1 HP where it looks like it's about to fall apart. Let's go back to before I chose Wulfric to attack that lightning orb. Look at this orb. Look at it. Do you see this pulsing effect? This tells you there is a blade on the current character that you can choose that has its opposing element. The ice orb has it too, due to Finch. Once each character has used a special, the chain attack ends. Congratulations on not doing much, unless you manage to destroy at least one elemental orb. Then, there is a quick time event. Press that B button when the circle moves into the light blue range. The whole thing is light blue, so you better not miss. Then, everyone gets one more round of specials. Each character goes in the same order as before. But did you follow my instructions earlier? I told you to pay attention to this Roman numeral for the special, and I did not tell you everything that happens if you succeed at the QTE. If you succeed at the QuickTime event, the special number goes up by 1. So for this round, all characters will use their level 2 specials. If you fail at the QTE, the specials used for that round will be downgraded by 1. If you made it to Special 3, for example, but then fail a QTE, it will downgrade to Special 2. You can't reach Special 4 for chain attacks. Level 4 specials can happen, but not during these rounds. I'll get to this later. Now, there is another detail for whether you succeed or fail this QTE. It determines if all blades are refreshed or not. When a special is used, the blade is grayed out, but once each party member takes a turn, you destroyed at least one elemental orb, and you succeed the QTE, all blades are usable again. If you fail the QTE after everyone has taken a turn and destroyed at least one orb, then the blades will stay grayed out along with the special downgrade. After you have destroyed all orbs, there will be no next round QTE, so blades will not be refreshed. The ones you used will be grayed out for the final round of specials. Note, for each additional QTE for round extensions, when you destroy an orb, the line for the QTE gets a bit faster, so do pay attention so you don't miss it. Another detail, if the chain attack ends and you did not destroy all orbs, they will still be there at the same HP amounts they were left with. If multiple orbs are destroyed in a single round, there is no carryover. So, if you destroy 2 orbs in one round, the round ends, you succeed the QTE, and then destroy no orbs during this new round, you will get no QTE after everyone's turn. You must destroy at least 1 orb per round to extend the chain attack. Let's go over Full Burst now, the lovely yellow meter that fills as you burst balls. It takes about 4 to 6 orbs bursted to fill the meter, during a single chain attack. It resets once the chain attack ends. Once it fills, the character that started the full burst by bursting the last elemental orb will perform their level 4 special. Please be ready for the QTEs for your level 4 special. Then the other characters perform a special for their last used blade. In this example, that is Wulfric for Rex and Poppi for Tora. What level special they perform is based on the party order in the top left. Nia started this full burst, so she uses her level 4 special for the blade that bursted the final orb. Then we go down to Tora, who will use his level 3 special, and then back up to Rex for level 2. So the special level decreases by 1 per character in the party order. If you look at the other characters and listen to their voice lines, you can easily determine this is how this works. Termination Blast is Wulfric's level 2 special, which is the big beam in front of him. It is possible to know exactly how many orbs it takes to get a full burst to activate, because there are no numbers or anything on this meter. It simply fills. Time for some simple maths. A full burst takes 300 points. The first orb destroyed each round is 50 points. Any orb destroyed after the first within a round is 100 points. Let's count the points during my chain attack example. Round 1, I first destroyed the lightning orb for 50 points. Round 2, fire for 50. Round 3. For this round, it is ice for 50, but I also destroyed earth this round, so this is another 100 points. Round 4. Last is the wind orb for the final 50 points. I got exactly 300 points to activate the full burst. Earlier I said it takes 4 to 6 orbs to reach full burst. 4 orbs is the lowest. You'd have to destroy 4 orbs within 1 round, which would equal 350 points. Or destroy 2 of the 4 orbs each round, for a perfect 300. 6 orbs is the highest amount you would need. That is destroying 1 orb each round for 50 points each. Now for this damage percentage increase. When an orb is destroyed, it adds 200% to the multiplier. You also get even more added to the multiplier if you achieve a full burst. Here's a handy chart from the wiki. If there are 0 intact orbs when you achieve full burst, the multiplier gets another 500% added to it. If there is at least 1 orb intact, it adds 1000%. All the way up to if there are 4 intact orbs when you achieve full burst, it adds 5500%. The multipliers from this chart will be added to your full burst. You can see the 500% being added once the full burst begins in my example. If you get an enemy's HP to 0 during a chain attack, you enter Overkill. And bonus is added below the damage multiplier. Any attacks that land during Overkill will increase the bonus percentage. Once the chain attack ends, your rewards for the battle get multiplied by the bonus amount, or drops, experience, etc. Intact orbs are ones that have not been destroyed. Any orb that does not have a burst over it is classified as intact. This chart, along with the point breakdown for the full burst meter, and more information can be found in the video description. Now, I hope you understand driver combos, blade combos, and chain attacks, because there is another mechanic. You may have noticed it during some of the earlier clips. Fusion combos. These are a combination between driver and blade combos. This is also where the blade combo names I glossed over earlier come into play, and not because they mean anything in particular, but because the announcer makes them sound cool. They let you do even more extra damage. There are 2 ways to notice a fusion combo has happened. One is obvious, and the other is not so obvious. The first is when you get this cut in and the announcer says,
Thanks for the support. Good.
and the second is this text that appears on screen and floats away. A fusion combo occurs when you use a special while a break, topple, launch, or smash is active on the enemy. Or conversely, use a break, topple, launch, or smash while a blade combo is active on the enemy. Depending on which driver combo status and blade combo is active is which one the announcer says. The cut-in happens under a few different circumstances, and they act as a good time to think about what you want to do next while it plays out. It happens after a blade combo has already started, and you, as the player, are performing a level 2 special to go to the stage 2 of the blade combo. Just remember, this is a fusion combo, so the break status or higher must be active as well. A cut-in will also occur when the blade combo is already on stage 2, and your character performs a topple or higher status driver combo on the enemy. The last moment a cut-in happens can work for you and other members of the party when you finish a blade combo. This cut-in happens whether it is a fusion combo or not. It does not matter.
Launch steam explosion.
The text-only ones appear when the cut-in ones don't, which is most of the time. Here's a handy chart for you to understand how much of a bonus you get from your fusion combos. The first part is stages. Depending on what part of the driver combo you're on and what stage of blade combo you're on determines what stage the fusion combo is. Stages go from 2 to 7. So if you're on blade combo stage 2, which would be here, and you then hit an enemy with a break, it is stage 3. This brings us to the second chart. Look at stage 3. It gives a 50% damage bonus, effect time plus 10%. This effect applies while a blade combo is already active. If the blade combo timer is here, do the steps of a driver combo to refresh it by this effect time %, so you can extend how much time you have to progress the next blade combo stage. Look at this blade combo timer go. Party gauge. This is how much the party gauge will go up. And EXP is how much bonus experience you will get at the end of the battle. Okay, this keeps happening to me as I make these guides. I find out about how some mechanic works and say to myself, how is anyone supposed to notice this works this way or exists? Pay attention to this. You can stack the damage bonuses from the fusion combos. The key is doing the fusion combo on the same driver combo status, meaning you do multiple specials while the break, topple, launch, or smash statuses are active during a blade combo, but only during that singular instance of the status. What I am saying is, once this break status is applied, do multiple specials to the enemy before its timer runs out. This also works if it is any of the other driver combo statuses, but if its timer runs out and you place the status again, or if, for example, it changes from break to topple, the damage stacks from the fusion combo will reset. Let's look at some examples. These will give you a rough idea as to how much your damage can vary by doing fusion combos and stacking multiple fusion combos during one instance of a driver combo status. Please note my equipment is the exact same for each of these. This is during New Game Plus. I lowered my levels because you can in New Game Plus, and used lower strength blade core chips. These are essentially blade weapons, because this thing would not have lived through this blade combo if I didn't. Also note, we are looking at the big numbers that will be happening at the end of these specials. Also, remember the big number that happens is also like an explosion, so it does AoE damage. You'll notice they make use of this in speedruns. The damage stacking and enemy hurting is impressive. The first example is with no driver combo at all. Wulfric does 24,793 damage, and Cora does 1,346. Let's store these numbers off to the side as example 1. Example 2. Break status is up for each part of the blade combo. Wulfric does 40,788 damage, and Cora does 5,151. Example 3. Wulfric and Cora do their specials while Topple is active. Remember, you get even more extra damage when hitting toppled enemies. Wulfric does 74,374 damage, and Cora does 6,878. The last example, Wulfric does his special during break, but Cora then does her special during topple. I purposefully waited for break to turn into topple. Wulfric does 35,351 damage, and Cora does 4,405. Also, remember, when trying to stack damage during fusion combos, all specials must be performed during the same instance of a driver combo status. So Wulfric doing his special on break and then the status upgrading to topple does not stack the fusion combo damage for Cora. That is why her damage in example 4 is lower than her example 2 and 3 damage. But she did do extra damage due to the topple status, so of course it's still higher than example 1. Also, did you notice I was only referring to a singular damage number? All damage goes up for the specials, but the fusion combo explosion damage is the bigger, more significant number here. Also, let's go over damage over time effects. These are tied to all the combos we've gone over at this point, those being the driver combos, blade combos, and fusion combos. They are the orange numbers you see pop up occasionally. There is a minor blade spoiler coming up. I tried doing my test without using it, but I found it to be so much of a pain, I just decided to use it anyway. To do damage over time, you must do a specific blade combo. Then wait and watch the damage rack up, because the damage over time only continues if you stay on that blade combo. Once you progress the blade combo to a new stage, the dot damage ends. Now, dot damage works in two ways. The first aspect is the starting dot damage. The second is increasing the dot damage per full driver combo. I'll get into it in a moment. First, the initial dot damage. During blade combos, some of them apply damage over time. Here's the list of each blade combo that does dot damage. If you hit an enemy with an Earth special, and then go to a stage 2 blade combo with a Fire special, that makes it Volcano, which has a damage over time effect. I cannot find a list of the strength of each damage over time effect. If anyone knows where to find the information, please leave a comment and I'll add it to the video description. For increasing dot damage after it has begun, complete a driver combo. Break all the way to smash. Once the smash effect ends, you will notice that the damage over time has increased. Let's go over an example with even more information. There are some more pieces to this. That was just the general explanation. In this example, we are using Volcano. The initial damage for your dot is determined by a percentage of the special damage done for that stage of the blade combo. So the damage of this level 2 fire special, that takes us to blade combo stage 2, is what we want to increase the damage for to get a stronger dot at the start. Note, once you are not on this stage 2 blade combo anymore, the damage over time stops happening. So if you want to utilize damage over time, you can't progress your blade combo. So for the dots that occur on stage 1 of a blade combo, you would be looking to increase the damage of the initial special that starts the blade combo. The special level does not matter when starting a damage over time effect. Basically, you can use a level 3 or 4 special to do even more damage, to have a stronger starting damage over time effect. Do not do a special with one of the two elements displayed here. That would finish the blade combo and end the damage over time. In most cases, dot damage is going to be a nice little bonus, but it is possible to optimize this damage to the point where you can defeat bosses with it. The second part, doing a full driver combo, that being break all the way to smash, will increase the dot damage by a percentage. The first driver combo will increase the damage by 100%, the second 50%, the third 33%, and so on. This increase is without any fusion combo up effects. I'm aware that "and so on" I ended with might not make sense. That will be explained right now. Let's look at an example. When Volcano is applied, the orange number is 294. That is the base dot damage. This is without any external buffs like fusion combo effect up. Let's call this the true dot damage. This distinction is necessary for when we get to fusion combo effect up. So 294 is the true dot damage. Now let's do a full driver combo. The orange number is now 588. That is a 100% increase to the initial 294. The second full driver combo has the orange number go from 588 to 882. This is a 50% increase. Do you see the pattern yet? Each full driver combo adds the true dot damage to the current dot damage. So 294 is being added to the total for each full driver combo. The higher you can get your true dot damage, the quicker you can do even more damage over time. Let's get into fusion combo effect up. This can increase the damage over time even further, but this effect is only applied if the blade with the effect is equipped to a party member, is active in combat, and is a part of the fusion combo. It works this way whether the fusion combo effect up is through a blade's battle skills, affinity chart, or an equipped Aux Core. Look at this example. Nim is a unique blade with boost fusion combo effect in her affinity chart. Let's apply the damage over time with Volcano. The base dot damage is 6,353. Now let's do a driver combo and see how much the dot damage increases. It goes to 10,588, but that is not double the base damage. 6,353 times 2 is 12,706. I'll explain in a moment, but this is why I mentioned keeping the idea of true dot damage in the back of your mind. This 6,353 base dot damage is not the true dot damage. This 6,353 includes Nim's boost fusion combo effect. Let's let the rest of these driver combos play out and record the dot damage increase. This is how we will find the true dot damage. Driver combo 2 increases the damage to 14,823, and driver combo 3, the damage goes to 19,059. Now, if you add the same number to each result, you will get the true dot damage. We can simply subtract the first driver combo number of 10,588 by 6,353. This equals 4,235. This is our true dot damage. Add 4,235 to each damage increase. It is exactly how much the dot damage went up each time. Nim's boost fusion combo effect bonus only applies when she is involved in the initial dot setup with a special. So, as we did the driver combos, she was not the one doing the smash part of that combo. So her bonus does not apply. Now, I have to explain something specific. The true dot damage is increased by Nim in this example, but notice how the specials were done. I applied a break status. Nim does special 1 during break, and I then do special 2 with Tora during the same break status. The character with the fusion combo effect must be involved in a fusion combo for the effect to occur, and must be during the same driver combo status. This is where the fusion combo effect up bonus helps. But fusion combo effect up will also work to increase the dot damage due to completing a driver combo, if the character that does the smash has fusion combo effect up. Note the fusion combo effect up bonus from the smashing character is not a permanent buff to the true dot damage. It works the same as Nim. It is a one-time bonus due to that character's involvement. So if that character is always the one that does the smash, the bonus will apply each time. If this character does the smash for the driver combo, and then a different character without a bonus does the smash instead, you will notice the dot damage increase will be lower, because the damage will only go up by the true dot damage and not have the fusion combo effect up bonus. So, for damage over time effects, if you want to think of them simply, figure out which blade combo damage over time effect you want to use for your party composition, and make the special that applies the damage over time do as much damage as possible. Then, perform full driver combos to increase the damage over time effect, and you can add a fusion combo effect up to the character that does the smash for those driver combos for an extra bonus. Now you know about all the combat mechanics, so we'll now get into all the menus, equipment, and other stuff. Oh, wait, there's a couple more combat things. First, this is a spoiler. 3, 2, last chance to skip this section. 1. If you've started Chapter 5, you're good. Pyre gains the ability to switch to Mithra during combat, so essentially Rex has access to both the fire and light elements in combat, technically allowing him to have up to 4 different elements available at once. Very useful for setting up blade combos, and light blades are very rare in this game. Make good use of Mithra. This next one is also a spoiler. Please skip over this part if you have not started Chapter 7 in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Explanation coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this next combat mechanic you will have unlocked at the end of Chapter 6, which is Pyra and Mithra's true form, Numa. Her entire appearance changes, and she helps open up combat for you so much more. To switch Pyra and Mithra to Numa in combat, their affinity must be capped, and all 3 segments of the party gauge are full. Hold R while in combat. Numa is set to the X button. Note, this is the target changing menu. This slot is empty the entire game until you unlock Numa. Numa gets to switch the element of her specials to whatever you want. It does not even matter if she is being controlled by you or the AI. Hold R and activate Numa, and then press up or down on the D-pad to choose Numa's element or her special. If a blade combo has not been started, you can choose from any of the 8 elements. And if a blade combo has already been started, you can only choose an element fitting for the current blade combo, which is nice actually because this means you do not have to sift through 8 different options to get the one you want. Numa has one more trick for you. Once unlocked, Rex can now equip any blade no matter who it is bonded to. I'll go over this when I go over the details for blades. That is all for the combat mechanics. Time to get into all the menus. Note, some of these will be question marks until you unlock them via story progress. Let's go over each of these briefly. Then we'll come back to characters. Characters. Choose which party members are in the combat party. Enhance arts. Change arts set to each weapon type and level them up. Engage blades. Change a character's equipped blades. The passives within the Affinity chart. Equip accessories and passive buffs via the pouch. You can also equip your blades with core chips. Their weapon. Their Affinity chart has passive buffs and Aux Cores with various effects. Skip travel. Select locations to fast travel to and view where different locations/objectives are on the map. Quest log. View all accepted quests. Blades. View all currently possessed blades and summon new blades. Merc group. Mercenary group where you can send blades on time-based expeditions to earn rewards, and even complete some unique quests. Item list. View all possessed items. System. Save, change time of day, and options. Expansion pass. If you bought it, it will be filled with stuff. There's a lot of content here. We'll go over it later. Overview over. Characters. What is on this screen? The name of the menu on the top left, the current party members in the opposite corner. They're numbered. The 1 to 3 indicate who is in the combat party. The character with the number 1 is the character you control. Change this by pressing X for the change order menu. Then press A on a character, and press A again on a different character to switch them. Press X while in this change order menu to remove a character from the party. Press X on a character removed from the party to add them in. The center of the screen is everyone in their artwork of glory. Their image is brought to the front when selected. One of them is the driver and the other 3 are the blades. You figured it out instantly. The driver's banner is blue, and the blades are... Do we call this pink? You can see the driver's placement in the party, their level, their name, and this phrase just above that, Wild Cavalier. What this says is dependent on the class combination of blades the character is equipped with. This does nothing mechanically. It only indicates the class combination of blades equipped. The banner for a blade has their rarity, in diamonds and crowns. The crowns are the only one that really matters. Element, name, and these diamonds show which slot the blade is in for combat. So Wolfric would be up on the D-pad, Seimei is right, and Pyra down. Always remember to look at the button key to see what buttons do. Select the driver. This is character setup. Now you have these 5 options and a stat window in the bottom right. This window will be on screen while looking through more parts of character setup. HP, the driver's max health points. Strength, affects the damage from physical arts. Ether, affects damage/healing from ether arts. Ether is basically Xenoblade's version of magic. Dexterity, affects attack accuracy. Agility, affects chance to evade enemy attacks. Luck, makes it easier to resist enemy debuffs and reactions. This stat also increases item drop rates. Note, it is not by some world-changing amount, but it does increase it. We'll talk about this later when discussing how you acquire new blades. There is also total EXP and EXP to next, which is how much experience is needed to reach the next level. Press L or R to change tabs for this window. Press R and the next window is the list of the character's current blades. The blade names, trust level, and roll. This trust level goes up as you increase affinity with the blade, and roll is if the blade is an attacker, tank, or healer. The last page is Thought Cloud. There's a diagram for it, and the list of each next to that. Bravery, truth, compassion, and justice. These affect the likelihood of what element will be on the blades you pull for. Me saying the word pull certainly triggered something in many of you. I'm sure you instantly thought of your favorite gacha game, or despised gacha game. For those that have not played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the game does have a pool system, but there are no microtransactions to do the pools. You cannot spend real money to get more pools. And don't bring up the DLC. You do technically get some pools via the DLC, but come on. You know people are buying that for the extra quests, an entire extra prequel story, etc. And you can only buy it once. All blade acquisition details will be later. Bravery is fire and water. Truth is ice and wind. Compassion is electric and earth. Justice is dark and light. From what I could find, the game prioritizes whichever idea stat is the highest when pulling for a blade. But in playing the game, you still get a good mix of elements. Note, these elements are paired with their opposing elements, like I told you about for enemy weaknesses and destroying elemental orbs during chain attacks. Increase the level of these by increasing trust with blades. These are labeled as ideas in a blade's affinity chart. I'll go over how these ideas work in more detail after these character and blade setup menus. Press Y to turn this details window off and on. Now to these 5 options, starting with Enhance Arts. This menu is where you upgrade and set the arts for a character's equipped blades. They are separated by weapon type. There is the name of the currently highlighted weapon, and WP, which is weapon points, and these are used to upgrade arts. Earn weapon points by defeating enemies, and you can also use weaponry for noobs for 1000 WP. Press X in this window to use them. Get this item by unlocking every node in a 1, 2, or 3 crown common blades affinity chart, and 4 crown common blades will reward you with an overdrive protocol if released with a completed affinity chart. We'll talk about both items more later. Note, each weapon has its own WP. Use a weapon in combat to earn WP for that specific weapon. I'm currently on the Aegis Sword, which is Pyro's weapon. Note, when you're on a weapon belonging to a blade that is equipped, their portrait is highlighted on the bottom left, and you can see all the current weapon's arts listed with their level. Sometimes there's an exclamation mark next to the weapon, or next to a specific art. This exclamation mark indicates there is an art that you can afford to upgrade. One more visual thing here. Some weapons are white while others are a teal color. The white ones all belong to a currently equipped blade. Some weapon types are purely unique to a specific blade, but most of the time they are not. For example, the Chroma Katana. If you are equipping a blade that wields a Chroma Katana to Rex, they share this list of arts. Think of it as a pre-existing loadout per weapon type, with some exceptions. Select Aegis Sword. Here you can choose to upgrade arts and organize arts. Current WP is still displayed, art name, level, WP needed to level the art, and notice there are 4 arts here and not 3. Every weapon for each character has 4 arts, but only 3 can be chosen to use in battle. And below is a detailed breakdown of the art, and the window to the right is showing what will change if the art is leveled. In this case, Anchor Shot's damage ratio would go up by 20, and the percent chance for it to drop a second HP potion goes up by 10%. Any damage ratio and recharge numbers will be green here if they change. Press A to upgrade an art if you have the WP, and there is a confirmation message. The max level for an art is level 5, and it will say Max. Switch arts by pressing X, then press A on the art you want to switch it with. Let's take a closer look at the art details window. Type. This is the damage type of the art. It will be either physical or ether. Remember, the attack stat increases physical damage, and ether increases ether damage. Range. This is the area of effect type for the art. Anchor Shot says 1 target, so it will only hit the currently targeted enemy. Reaction. This is any added effect it has, and this one does topple. The higher this number, the more damage it does. Recharge is how long it takes to charge in combat in order to use it. When some arts are leveled, this number will lower, meaning it recharges faster in combat, so it will take less auto attacks for it to be usable again. Rolling Smash's recharge is 11, and if upgraded to level 3, will go to 10. Its damage type is Ether, and range is ahead. This is a line in front of the character, and it reduces 20% of aggro toward user upon landing a hit. A nice bonus for how much more damage it does. It is the highest damage ratio art here. Anchor Shot also spawns a small HP potion when it hits an enemy. This also means if it misses, it will not spawn a HP potion, and it has a 20% chance to spawn an extra small HP potion. This percent chance goes up as the art is leveled. Sword Bash has the same damage type and range as Anchor Shot, but it does 100% extra damage if it hits an enemy in the back. Double Spinning Edge increases damage dealt from the side by 50%. Note, if an art has an extra damage condition and you fulfill it, there will be this yellow marker to indicate you fulfilled the condition. Each weapon type has its own unique arts with varying effects, AoE types, and driver combo statuses. Some even have no driver combo reactions. So there is no break, topple, launch, or smash. Each party member does not even have the same arts on each weapon type. Here's the Mega Lance for Rex and Neo. Shield Hammer. Knuckle Claws. You can also tell some of the properties of how an art works based on its symbol. I mentioned this earlier, but let's get into the details. To help with this, I even found this chart. I did not know all of these, because to be honest, you really don't need to know them all. Read your art details, and you'll be fine. This first part. These symbols indicate a physical attack. These are ether. Note, even this article mentions there are some exceptions, such as these bitball arts. Read your arts to be sure. These are the symbols for the driver combos. Useful at a glance during combat. Reaction arts. There is a symbol for blowdown and knockback. Then other for defense. These arts restore a percentage of HP while active, and recharges other arts when attacked. Recovery. These are arts that just heal every party member when used. Area of effect types. This is related to the dots you see on an art's symbol. No dots means the art has only one target. A dot in the top and bottom of the symbol indicates its AoE is ahead of the user. And a dot in each corner means it is a circle around the user. Okay, last chart. These symbols will be on the bottom half of an art and indicate an effect. Upright Sword. Does extra damage if attacking from the enemy's front. Look for this gold mark next to your damage numbers when the art hits to know you are standing in the right spot. Upside Down Sword. Does extra damage if attacking from the enemy's back, or evades enemy attacks for the duration of the art. Horizontal Sword. Does extra damage if attacking from the enemy's side. Fist. Does extra damage if the enemy is toppled or launched. Heart. The art has an effect that is related to the user's HP. It can be extra damage when the user is at high or low HP, restores or drains the user's HP. Check an art's description for the specifics for this icon. This targeting thing increases damage ratio after canceling an auto attack. A targeting reticle increases damage dealt to enemies targeting the user. Red monster head thing. The art does extra damage to enemies of a certain type. Check the description for the enemy type. This almost looks like a red half moon. Increases or reduces aggro towards the user. Land a hit with rolling smash and the aggro generated will be reduced by 20%. Green bottle. It will spawn 1 or 2 HP potions on hit. The clock. Critical hits will recharge the art used. Bold tackle for Rex's Great Axe recharges by 50% if it is a critical hit. Engage blades. Here's where you switch which blades are equipped to which characters. The name of the menu, the usual characters in the corner, the blade list. Your cursor starts on the 3 currently equipped blades. Select one with A to enter the blade list, and select a blade to switch them with. Notice some blades look very much alike, but there are some that look completely different. There are common blades and unique blades. I'll go over them later. Class effect. These are stat boosts that are applied to a character based on the class of blade they have equipped. We'll get to the specifics in a bit. Character stat information in the bottom left. In the bottom right is the blade's stats. You'll be seeing this in more menus later. You have the blade's name, element, weapon symbol, roll, auto attack. The higher this is, the more damage the blade does. This is not just for its auto attack. This affects the blade's overall damage. Block rate. How often a blade will block and reduce damage from an attack. Let's pause for a moment. The block rate for tank blades is a big reason why they are tanks. But there are 2 types of tanks, block and evasion tanks. Blocking tanks reduce damage by blocking attacks, and evasion tanks evade attacks. They take 0 damage on an evade, but there is no evasion stat displayed here. They will have evasion-based passives in their affinity charts, and some arts will say evade enemy attacks during driver arts. So while this animation plays, all enemy attacks will be evaded, hence the evade that appears on screen. Enemies can do this too.
Sure.
Super.
Good
Critical rate. How often a blade does a critical hit doing extra damage. Phys Def. Physical defense. It lowers physical damage received by this percentage. Ether defense. Lowers ether damage received by this percentage. Strength, which is needed for mercenary missions. And the rarity of the blade. There are these diamonds and crowns. We'll go over this in the blade discussion. That is page 1. Press R for the next page. It shows who the driver of the blade is. Basically, who has access to it. Only the character whose name is here can use this blade. There are some exceptions to this, but that will be discussed later. Weapon, the equipped core chip. Affinity chart. We'll get to this after this Engage Blades menu, but it shows how many nodes on the chart are filled compared to the max number of nodes the blade has on their chart. Cooldown. This is how long it takes to switch to the blade in combat. Remember this pink line that has to fill? The lower the number, the longer the line takes to fill, and the higher the number, the quicker the line fills. Trust. This letter grade is linked to how much of the affinity chart is unlocked. This last spot is the mod slot. What stat is increased here is dependent on the blade by the said percentage. Common blades will have a randomly generated mod slot, while unique blades have a predetermined mod slot. The next page is Specials. It is a text explanation of the attack for each special level. Now, I want you to actually pay attention to these specials in combat. Some are circle AoE or a line in front of the character. Example, Wulfric's level 2 special Termination Blast is a line AoE in front of the character. Also, some specials provide a heal, like Dromark for Nia. Dromark's special level 2 Aqua Wave. Read the description. Attack enemies and heal allies with a wave of ether. So be sure to read your blade specials and see what type of AoE they are, or if it has a bonus effect. We're on the 4th page now. Blade Arts. These are buffs the blade will give your character in combat while it is active. You can tell when you receive these buffs in combat because it says so. There are a good variety of these. Page 5. Battle Skills. These are passive abilities that are active during combat. Unique blades have their own unique passives, while common blades have a generated set of battle skills. They really have a lot of randomly generated things. These battle skills can be leveled through a blade's affinity chart. Note, some battle skills are not able to be leveled. Do look at these. They can help shape your team strategy. Finch, for example. Did I do that? 14% chance to not deplete recharge after a driver art or special, meaning there's a 14% chance for the art or special to not go on cooldown, so it can be used again immediately. Doesn't ring a bell. 40% chance to reset recharge for an enemy art when a special connects. This will reset enemy arts recharge so they can't use their arts as often. And surprise! Increases damage dealt by a surprise attack by 125%. So if you hit an enemy before they notice you, you'll do extra damage. I'll go over more battle skills in the Blades discussion. Field skills. These are primarily used for interacting with these field skill locations. These are all around the world and can also be viewed on the skip travel map. For now, know that these field skill locations require you to have a set of field skills at specific levels to unlock them. You'll be unlocking chests, new paths to travel, and other rewards. Some unique blades even have their own unique field skills, and they will say so. Finch as an example again. Bird Brain. The power to instantly forget anything. Skill exclusive to Finch. What does this do? You'll have to find out. It does something, somewhere, for something. Note, the game reads all field skill levels from every equipped blade to see if you meet the requirements. If a blade is not equipped, it does not count. The last page. Aux Cores. These are like blade accessories that give bonus effects. There are a lot of these, and you will acquire a lot of these as you play the game. We'll get into these in a bit. Now back to the blade list and the blade classes. Attackers boost damage dealt. Healers have HP potion effect up, which increases the amount of HP that is restored to this character when they run over a HP potion. This bonus is separate per character. When a character runs over a HP potion, every character in the party instantly earns an amount of HP. Notice the green numbers. That is how much HP the character regained. It does not matter if the healer blade is being actively used in combat, you still get the extra HP from HP potion effect up. So the more healers a character has equipped, the more HP that will be regained per HP potion. Healers also have lowers arts/special aggro. Arts and specials from this character are now less likely to draw the ire of enemies. Tank class effects are: reduces damage taken. Does exactly as it says. This character takes less damage from enemies. By the way, I've been saying this character multiple times. To clarify, I'm speaking of the driver. They are the one who gains the stated class effects. Boosts auto attack aggro. Auto attacks generate more enemy aggro, and boosts arts/special aggro. The same thing, but for arts and specials. Fitting for a tank. There are more aspects to these class effects. Now, let me show you a new chart. You can see all of the class combination names. This column is the blade rolls. Damage. There's damage dealt and then received. So Fighter gives you a 10% bonus to damage dealt. Elite Fighter gives 15% damage dealt. And 3 attackers at Master Fighter is 20% to damage dealt. Same goes for damage received. This is only for when there is a tank or tanks, and they reduce damage. Number of recovery pots. I'm not sure if this is actually more potions or an increase in drop rate. Aggro. Which classes increase or decrease auto attack and arts aggro? Pick up a recovery pot. This option is if the AI character will run over to drop HP potions or not, and dedicated to recovery. I'm thinking this one is if a character will focus on heals rather than whatever other classes they have equipped. But they will switch blades if able to help with blade combos. Tora has no healer blade equipped. Notice how he does not move to pick up HP potions. Your list of blades will eventually get very long. You can mark a blade as a favorite with the right stick button. Press it again to remove the favorite status, the gold border with the key icon. Press the minus button to sort your blades. You can sort by chronological, alphabetical, weapon class, highest lowest trust, by specific field skills, and more. Use these options to help find what you're looking for more quickly. To the next option, Affinity chart. Spend skill points earned through combat to upgrade party members. Each character has a different affinity chart setup and do share some options, but they are not in the same spots. Press D-pad left or right to move the cursor to different nodes in the row. Press L to move the cursor to an outer row. Press R to move to an inner row. Or be smart and move the right stick to just move the cursor like you would a mouse and make your life much easier. It even snaps to nodes when it is close enough. You can see how many skill points it takes to unlock a node when highlighted. Skill points needed. You can unlock more base stats. This is an interesting one. Rapid Attack 1 for Rex allows use of the driver art assigned to X at the start of battle. This makes whichever art is equipped to the X button, this top slot, available immediately once combat starts. Yes, you actually could just rearrange your arts to allow a specific one to be available at the start of battle. There is a node for each art slot. Then there are more defensive ones, like restoring more HP to revive teammates, potions restore more HP, and an important one, Arts Chain. This is a key one for combat. Remember back to arts canceling? You can cancel into arts, but Arts Chain lets you use a driver art after canceling a driver art, meaning you can now cancel your art as soon as it lands into another art. Before, you could only cancel an art into a special. Now, you can just cancel into everything constantly. By the way, it is quite the grind to unlock all of these nodes. You don't gain skill points fast, so I recommend looking at what you want and focusing on that. Arts Chain for every party member is not a bad one to aim for. Just remember nodes like Arts Chain that every character has is not in the same location on their affinity charts. Be sure to check where it is. Note, when starting the game, you only have access to the first row of nodes. You must unlock 3 nodes in a row to be able to acquire nodes in the next row. Nodes must also be unlocked in order. If you want Gramps' blessing for Rex, you must first get Rescue before it. The game even displays a message for you. Skills must be acquired in order. There is also a message if you do not have the necessary SP. There are also nodes that increase the driver combo status durations, help increase the party gauge faster, the chain attack meter, and some that are unique to different party members. Be sure to read through each character's affinity chart. Accessories. Equip 2 accessories to each character. The currently equipped ones are here at the top, and you can see their effect right below them. Press A to select the accessory slot and choose from what will become a laundry list of accessories. Press the minus button to sort them. Note, you can only sort when selecting a new accessory from the list. You can see the name of the accessory, rarity, and user. Accessories have up to 3 rarities. The 1 blue square, 2 red squares, and the 3 gradient orange to red squares. These are squares. A higher rarity accessory has a stronger effect than its lower rarity versions. User provides the name of which character is currently equipped with the accessory. If you choose to equip an accessory that is equipped by a different character, you get this message. This is equipped to a different character. Remove and equip. It does exactly as it says, so remember to equip the other character with a new accessory if they're in your battle party. There are effects such as increasing any of these stats by either a flat amount or a percentage, medals that absorb a percentage of critical damage dealt as HP, increasing damage dealt to enemies affected by a driver combo status, and extend driver combo statuses by a percentage. Note, you cannot equip 2 similar accessories, meaning if an accessory provides literally the same effect, you can't equip 2 of them. If an accessory increases a stat by a percentage, you can't equip 2 of them to the same character. But if one of them increases a stat by a percentage, and the other increases the same stat by a flat amount, you can equip one of each. Just remember, each accessory can't provide the same effect. Accessories that cannot be equipped will also be grayed out. A few important ones you may want to consider. Think about who should use them. Feathers make the character equipped with it start battle with aggro. So if you're running into enemies and your non-tank controlled characters keep dying as you're just trying to run through an area, use this, so they don't get hit at all. Necklaces improve the effect of healing arts by a set percentage, just in case your heals are feeling a little too weak. Cameos increase HP restored to self, not using HP potions, by a set percentage. Please remember the message in parentheses. This does not work on the dropped potions. Gauntlets boost recharge for specials after canceling. Your arts canceling makes your specials recharge faster. Attachments. There are attachments for every weapon type, and they increase attack power of that weapon when equipped. And more. Oh, there are accessories that give resistance to different statuses. That can be useful. Oh, Betascope. It reduces enemy break resist so you can start your driver combos more easily. Had to at least get that one in, because it's good. Pouch setup. Equip various items for passive buffs to your characters. Belt pouches is how many pouches you can set an item to. Once an item is set, you can see how long the buff lasts for and its name. Press Y to check contents. You can see the specifics, name of the item, timer, and each of its effects. Each character will start with one pouch, and you can get another with a pouch expander kit. Check the video description for those. And the character and their blades at the bottom. A note, your pouch item timers do not tick down while the menu is open. Now, select a pouch with A. New stuff. You can see all pouch items on the left. Press L or R to filter by item type. There are 12 types. You can see the highlighted item's effect at the bottom along with its duration. To the right is Members' Favorites. Each character and blade has 2 liked type pouch items and 2 liked items, except for common blades. They will have as low as 1 liked type and may have 0 liked items. Some blade affinity charts have nodes related to using specific pouch items, and using a character or blade's favorites can provide bonuses to the pouch item's strength. If it is their liked type item, which is an item category, the effect is increased by 20%, and a liked item's effect is increased by 50%. A heart appears here on the right when an appropriate item is highlighted, indicating a specific character likes that item. Liked type items will have 1 heart, while liked items will display 2 hearts. All characters start with 1 pouch and can unlock a second. You'll need a pouch expansion kit. Press X when you have one of these key items to use it. If you'd like to know where to get these pouch expansion kits, there is a link in the video description. Some of them you will get naturally from the story. Each pouch item type generally provides a specific buff. Staple foods. Give strength to a character's damage barrier based on a percent of their max HP. Veggies. Increases HP recovery. The character will heal for more when healed. Meats. Reduces physical damage taken by a percentage. Seafood. Reduces ether damage taken by a percentage. Desserts is a good one. Recharges arts by an amount each second. This makes arts recharge every second whether you are auto-attacking or not, so helps arts recharge faster. Drinks. Increase party gauge gain by a percentage. When party gauge goes up, it goes up by an extra amount based on this effect. Instruments. Also another good one. Specials recharge each second. Specials will recharge each second whether you use an art or not, so helps specials recharge faster. Art. Raises affinity gain. Increases the rate affinity is gained over the course of combat. The blue bond between blade and driver, helping them get to max affinity faster. Literature. Increases damage dealt by specials. Useful for stacking up even more damage during blade combos. Board games. Increases blade arts effect by the percentage. Blade arts are these effects a blade uses automatically when active in combat. Cosmetics. Increases base affinity by a set amount. Combat starts with a blade at a higher level of affinity. Textiles. Lowers affinity lost by a percentage. So if there are any moments when affinity would be lost, it makes you not lose as much affinity. Pouch items have different rarities and different levels of strength for their buffs. The 1 diamond rarities can have varying strength of their initial effect, and higher rarity means it will have even more buffs. You'll be using higher rarity pouch items for the multitude of buffs. All the pouch item types really like to mix and match effects with each other. When a pouch item's timer ends, it gets automatically refilled with another copy of that item, if you have one. If you do not have more of it, you will have to select a new item to place in the pouch. There is a window that appears on the right side of the screen while traveling that tells you if a pouch item has expired or been refilled. Please use pouch items during your playthrough. They can help a lot. If you're not sure what to use, focus on getting your arts and specials recharging faster. You'll output damage faster and will get heals more often. That is character setup. Now select a blade for blade setup. Each blade has these 3 options: weapon modification, affinity chart, and equip Aux Cores. Weapon modification. This is the blade's weapon. You can see the image of the currently highlighted core chip, or weapon, with the effect it has, if it has one, and then your currently equipped core chip, or weapon, and its effect, if it has one. Here you can see core chips held. You can purchase them, get them from chests or as item drops. Different core chips do change the appearance of weapons. You'll mostly just be looking for what increases the auto attack stat so you do more overall damage. But notice what else a core chip changes: block rate and critical rate. Depending on the blade you're using, you may want to pay attention to these. Like a tank, for example, some core chips increase the block rate by a lot. This block rate stat is a big reason why they are tanks. The damage reduction via equipping tank blades is really not enough to keep you alive sometimes. For critical rate, you'll come across blades that do extra things based on critical hits, and some accessories can give you bonuses via critical hits, like restoring small amounts of HP. Affinity chart. The blade affinity charts are different from the driver ones. First of all, there are a ton more nodes. Common blades do not have as many nodes. At first, you will only have access to the first row of nodes. Place the cursor on a node to see what it does. It is the same controls as the driver affinity chart. L or R to switch rows, and left or right with the left stick or D-pad buttons to move through a row. The right stick moves the cursor itself. Growth here in the bottom center is how many unlocked nodes you have for the blade out of how many total nodes are on their affinity chart. This count includes the key affinity reward nodes. Be sure to read these affinity charts. They vary a lot from blade to blade. The green nodes are the abilities on the blade's Field Skills tab we saw earlier. Place the cursor on a node to see its unlock condition. If the node has been unlocked, you can no longer see the unlock condition. If a node is highlighted and its icon is white, it is unlocked, and if darkened and the icon is black, it has not been acquired. Unlock conditions will also vary. Some require defeating an amount of a specific enemy, their driver using a specific item in their pouch, completing quests, and gathering items. Note, if a node is unlocked by using an item, the blade must be equipped to a driver for the item usage to count. and must be equipped to the driver that used the item, such as pouch items. Wulfric has a green node that wants you to use his favorite board game pouch item. To clarify, this is a board game category item with a specific name, and this first unlock or focus for Wulfric requires pouch items from the literature category. This one does not matter which literature pouch item is used. If Wulfric is not equipped when you use either of these, it will not count towards his node in the affinity chart. Some nodes will have a lock icon on them. These are nodes that you cannot unlock even if you complete the unlock condition. The game does not keep track of these conditions retroactively. There is an exception I'll mention in a moment. See these blue nodes on the bottom left of the chart? Key Affinity Reward. You must unlock these to gain access to the ability to unlock nodes in the further rows. Note, some blades have an extra line of text here. Affinity Bond will be easier to sustain. It will be easier to keep their affinity up in combat. For most blades, this is unlocked by increasing their trust. Trust is increased by using the blades in combat, getting them to max affinity, sending them on mercenary missions, using pouch items, completing quests, and viewing heart-to-hearts. Note, most unlock conditions are not retroactive. So even if you do the condition, whether it be defeating a specific enemy, perform a blade combo, etc., it will not count towards that node until the row is unlocked. There are a few exceptions. They will say previous instances count toward total, but you won't see the previous instances on the condition count until that node has its lock removed. Most affinity chart nodes will not have this previous instances count toward total message. While going over affinity charts, did you notice this in the corner of some of these node descriptions? It says idea, and the symbols I went over earlier during the driver information tabs: bravery, truth, compassion, and justice. The thought cloud. Unlocking nodes with any of the 4 ideas adds points to that idea. Once the idea gains enough points, it goes up a level for the driver. Let's look at a couple of blade affinity charts. Pyro, Prominence Revolt. Increases damage dealt to toppled enemies by 100%. Further rows are an increase in this effect. Each node after this one increases the damage by another 10%. Flame Nova increases damage dealt to beasts by 60%. Blazing End increases critical damage by 25%. Purifying Flames. Special has 5% chance to defeat non-boss foes with up to 20% HP. Pyrus specials have a percent chance to insta-kill enemies if they are not a boss and their HP is 20% or less. Resplendence increases blade combo damage by 24%. Flaming Edge increases critical damage by 10%. Let's look at one more blade, but a unique blade. Percival. Dark Serpent increases aggro drawn from specials by 60%. Blade Vortex increases damage dealt to enemies targeting user by 60%. Grim Moon adds 1% chance to incapacitate enemy, fails on bosses and uniques. Eater of Men increases damage dealt for each enemy incapacitated by 90%, with a max of 300%. Soul Sucker restores 45% HP each time an enemy is defeated. Brandish, 1% chance of felling a humanoid on attack, fails on bosses or uniques. Equip Aux Cores. Wait, before that, I mentioned spike damage earlier. Effects for this are also found in blade affinity charts. Spike damage being damage that is essentially counter damage. This is usually with passives like this. Sparky Girl counters attacks with 240% ether damage. This means if the character who has this blade out is hit, it deals 240% ether damage to the enemy. This is 240% of the blade's ether stat. This spike damage is the purple number that can be seen in combat. There is also a physical version for spike damage. Flash Counter counters attacks with 160% physical damage. This works off the blade's strength stat and activates if the enemy or a character dodges or evades an attack. While we're on the topic, some more information about spike damage. You can encounter spike damage from enemies when they are enraged. This generally happens when a boss or named enemy is around half HP, and is shown by this symbol on their nameplate. Not every enemy can deal spike damage, so just be on the lookout for purple numbers. Some core chips can also grant a spike damage effect. If spike damage is proving a problem, there are a few things you can do to mitigate it. The information is on screen, but I'll mention a couple of them. There is spike defense Aux Cores, and physical counter spikes can be temporarily disabled by toppling or launching enemies, since they cannot dodge or evade attacks in these states. If you want more detailed information for what blades have spike damage passives in their affinity charts, which core chips provide spike damage effects, and a list of enemies that deal spike damage, check the link in the video description. Equip Aux Cores. They are basically blade accessories. You can equip as many Aux Cores as the blade has slots. The lowest number of slots is 1, and the highest is 3. Below the slots is the description for the equipped Aux Core in the highlighted slot. Below that is the list of all Aux Cores you have. Press A on an Aux Core slot to access the list. Below the list is the description of the highlighted Aux Core. There will be Aux Cores you can equip that have this symbol, and ones that have this other symbol. See anything missing? Aux Cores must be crafted to be usable. NPCs with this symbol are the Aux Core shops. Select an Aux Core on the left, and then select items to use for the craft on the right. I'll talk more about this shop later when it is time to go over, well, shops. There are so many different Aux Cores. Here are a few. Element Orb Prioritizer. Targets damaged element orbs when not using opposing element in a chain. This will help you target some of those already damaged pesky orbs during chain attacks. If the element you are using is not the opposing element to any current orbs that can be damaged, it will prioritize already damaged orbs. Affinity Max Attack Series. It goes from 1 to 4, and it increases damage dealt by 30% when Affinity is at max. That is when the Affinity line is gold. The higher the number, the higher the damage increase. Sunlight Eye and Night Vision Series. Having a hard time landing attacks? Increase your accuracy during the day or the night. Resists of all kinds. Shackle, Blowdown, Launch, Break, and more. Resist those pesky statuses. Blade Combo Boost Series. Increases blade combo damage. Are you noticing I'm feeding you the Aux Cores that let you stack more and more damage? Hunters increase damage dealt to certain types of enemies. Emergency Guard boosts block rate when HP is 30% or lower. Evasion Focus is the same but for evasion instead. Be sure to visit an Aux Core shop every once in a while to see what you have. Now, before we move away from the Blade setup menu, there is a party member I need to discuss. I don't consider this a huge spoiler, but if you'd like to play through your games and be surprised, please skip this section I'm about to go over. If you have gotten to this, you're fine to continue. Tora. He is the most unique party member you have. He cannot use any of the common blades or unique blades you have seen so far. He uses artificial blades. Basically a robot. With that comes some unique blade setup options. Look at the blade setup for Poppi. Equip Aux Cores is not here, and there are two new options. Poppi Swap and Create/Crystallize Parts. Poppi Swap. Poppi equips different parts to herself. On the left is each part. Top right is Ether Crystals. These are used to create parts to equip to Poppi, and unlock new areas to equip things on the left, and upgrade certain parts. Get Ether Crystals by playing the Tiger Tiger minigame in Tora's house. I'll go over how the minigame works after going over Poppi Swap and Create/Crystallize Parts. Diffraction. This is Poppi's energy. Equipping parts uses a certain amount of energy. This energy limits how many parts you can equip. Next to this, to the right, is 3 letters. This is Poppi's current role. You can change Poppi's class by equipping a different part. Below this is the element symbol. You can also change Poppi's element by equipping a different part. The bottom right is a description of the currently highlighted part on the left. Let's go over these parts now. Energy Converter. This determines the total energy Poppi has. Upgrade it with Ether Crystals. Each upgrade costs more and more Ether Crystals. Roll CPU. Equip the role you want for Poppi here. Pay attention to the bottom right to see energy consumption as we go through these. Element Core. Change Poppi's element. Arts cards and skill realm are akin to Aux Cores for other blades. They can provide a variety of bonuses. Specials enhancing RAM. These add an effect to Poppi's specials. This 1, 2, and 3 are the special icons, so it adds the equipped effect to special 1, 2, or 3. Skill upgrade is extra skill RAM slots. You must unlock them with Ether Crystals. To create/crystallize parts, the real meat here. Select any part. It is a full list of anything you are able to create for Poppi. You only need the ether crystals and enough energy to equip it all. It's your favorite Xenoblade Chronicles 2 store, Build-A-Blade. There are also tiers of some of these parts that you will not have immediate access to, like the 4 or 5 versions of stuff. You must find technical manuals to be allowed to craft these, or complete runs of Tiger. If you would like to know what each manual rewards, and where each is located, check the video description. Tora will get access to more artificial blades as you progress the story. The first 2 will happen via story progression, but his 3rd blade you'll have to complete an optional quest for. Check the video description for that as well. You have to equip each of them with parts too. Video games have a wide range of genres and systems that define those genres. Players have struggled with or not completely understood combat mechanics in games. Let's change that. Let's build a deck. I suggest watching this entire timestamp as there may be details you are not aware of. 8-bit scavenging example, please. Tiger is the minigame within Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Mini Tora dives into the depths of the Cloud Sea searching for treasure chests, collecting ether, and fending off enemies, all in the name of upgrading his trusty artificial blade, Poppi. Go play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to learn the lore behind this game's creation. As I said, the objective is to dive all the way to the bottom, and once you touch the big treasure chest, you must then ascend back to the top. On the right is all of your information. Score is how many points you've accumulated. Gain points by picking up ether crystals, defeating enemies, and gaining medals upon level completion. Ether is how much ether you have by picking up the crystals. This ether is how many ether crystals you get to use for Poppi upgrading. Air is your HP. If it depletes completely, the scavenge fails. You'll lose all treasure chests you have picked up, but you will keep the ether. You lose health by running into enemies, these spiky balls, and hitting these walls. These walls do no damage to you if you choose the easy difficulty. This difficulty was added in an update after the game's release. Below is a space for two things. The left is the big treasure chest you get at the bottom of a dive, and the right is these tools in the shape of an X. This prevents you from losing a chest for one hit. You can only have one of these at a time. Then your chests. Every chest you touch goes here, and every time you take damage, you lose one chest. Press A to fire your grapple gun thing. Defeat enemies with this. Certain enemies can only be defeated by hitting them from certain angles, like turtles. You must hit them from below. Note, the grapple gun will only fire in the direction you're facing and only travels so far. This little bottle refills a chunk of air. Feel free to take your time at the bottom of the dive because nothing will happen until you touch the big treasure chest. This. Would you call this an orb? Once picked up, you turn into a strobe light. This item gives temporary invincibility until the strobe effect stops. The results screen. These 4 circles are medals. If you have achieved its objective, they turn gold with a symbol. The first medal is the damage medal. End the run with full health. If the air is full, it counts even if you got hit during the run and picked up a heal. The crystal medal. Collect all ether crystals. The treasure medal. Collect all the treasure chests without losing any. Perfect medal. Get all 3 of the other medals. And with full health, collect all ether crystals and collect all treasure chests. Medals add a lot to your score. There is one hidden thing with this minigame. If you don't want the secret, skip the next few seconds. The secret is, there is a hidden medal. Do not kill any enemies. The treasure chests are opened. The gears are Poppi parts, and the crystals are ether crystals. You can't tell what the parts are from this screen, but you'll see them in a moment. Aim for high scores and input your initials to stake your claim to the local leaderboard. Then, you see exactly which parts you got. There are multiple levels for you to play, and they unlock as you progress the story. Check the video description for when each stage unlocks. Go upgrade and take care of Poppi. If you feel like it, cause I didn't, really. I'm assuming most people don't. Let me know if you enjoyed upgrading the Poppi family. Wait. Before the next topic, there is one more secret I want to share. Each Tiger level has a hidden bonus area. I had no clue these existed until I set out to make this video. I'll show you where it is for level 1, and give you a look at level 2 and its bonus area. For level 1, you want to see these 2 jellyfish, and squeeze between these 2 rocks on the left. You want to be moving to the left like you're trying to push yourself off the screen. Good luck not taking any damage though. Then, in the bonus area, it is just as it looks. Grab as much ether as you can without touching the spikes. If you hit a spike, you get kicked out of the bonus area. Luckily, upon exit, the game gives you some invincibility frames for a bit, so you don't have to worry about taking damage. For level 2, it will be on the right. You want to see this red crab just hanging out, and then move into the 2 ether crystals. I'll leave the other Tiger levels for you to discover, should you decide to play the game yourself. If you'd like to know where all the bonus areas are, and all the enemy types, please check the video description. I realized I have said a lot about blades, but where the hell do they come from? You see, when someone touches a core crystal in just the right way, and the crystal likes it, you find a core crystal, choose the blades option in the main menu, bond blade in the center, listen to this mystical music play for a moment. It sets the stage. Select a character, select the type of core crystal, choose a booster or not. Of course, choose View Awakening Scene, and you've given birth to a new blade.
Put my heart and soul into helping out!
If a character is not in your Bond to Blade screen, you have not gotten far enough into the story, or the character has temporarily left the party. Remember, Tora will not be here, because he uses his own unique artificial blades. Core crystals. There are common, rare, and legendary core crystals. It is also possible to get core crystals that give a specific blade. This can be for story or other reasons. I'll be coming back to core crystals later. Note, once a blade is awakened on a specific character, it is only usable by that character. They are the only one that can equip it in the Engage Blade menu. There is an exception to this if you have an Overdrive Protocol item. This item lets you switch a blade's driver. Please listen to what I'm about to say next. There are very few Overdrive Protocols to acquire in the game. There are 3 you can find in the world. 3! You can see the location of each of these in the video description. If you purchase the DLC, there are up to 10 you can get from there. After that, you must earn them. You get an Overdrive Protocol by releasing a 4-crown common blade with a completed Affinity chart. You will get one if you fill out a driver's Affinity chart, and in New Game Plus, there is an NPC that sells Overdrive Protocols. Look to the New Game Plus section of the video for that information. Use Overdrive Protocols in the Manage Blades menu. We'll get to that in a bit. Boosters. Do you recognize this graph and information now? It's the Thought Cloud again. Using a booster adds a level to the appropriate idea. Bravery booster adds 1 level to bravery per booster used. The higher the level of an idea, the higher chance you have to gain a blade with its 2 elements. In this case, bravery increases the chance to acquire a fire or water blade. Now, I'm certain boosters work, but in practice, it often seems you do not get either of the 2 elements of the booster you choose. It is not a huge guarantee to get the element you want. Reminder, bravery is fire and water, truth, ice and wind, compassion, lightning and earth, justice, dark and light. Some information I did not know. When determining the power of a blade, by power I believe they mean element here, only the idea stat with the highest level is taken into consideration, unless a booster is used. If a booster is used, it will only take into consideration the boosted idea stat. In this case, Truth is Rex's highest idea stat, so it will prioritize Ice and Wind if I do not use a booster. So if you want a blade of a specific element, be sure its idea stat is the highest or simply use at least 1 booster. The highest level an idea can reach is 10 on its own. You can use 5 boosters, so an idea stat of 15 is the highest you can get. Note you can only carry 5 of any booster, at first. You can increase this cap via deeds. They have to do with shops in the game, but I'll get into that later. Choose to view Awakening Scene or skip Awakening Scene. When you choose to view it, there are 3 flashes of light above the character. These are blade silhouettes. The 3rd silhouette is the blade you will receive, so you can know when you get a rare blade mere moments before it is revealed to you. Viewing the Awakening scenes can be cool if you want to see the rare blade's unique intros, like this one.
Call me Gord. It is a great honor to have met you. I pledge the whole of my power to you.
I like the touch of having them take the pose of their key art at the end. I'm unsure how many more rare blades I want to show you in this video. There are actually a lot, and I really don't want to reveal too many of them. Choose Skip Awakening to skip to the blade's info screen. Note, if you skip the scenes and realize you got a unique blade and you would like to view the intro cutscene, you can do that from the game's start screen. You can even change the element, face type, and voice type for the common blades, and story cutscenes can be viewed here too. Back to core crystals, and pulling for blades. Of course, the rarer the core crystal, the higher chance to receive a rare blade, but there is a system in place that makes certain rare blades show up more easily, or often, and different rare blades have different rates to be pulled. When you start playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, your save file is put into one of 5 groups. Each group has 3 blades that are your pity blades. Let's use group 3 as an example. It contains Percival, Azami, and Adenine. Once you start your game and you start using core crystals, you earn points based on what type of core crystal. These points cannot be seen in game, it is in invisible value. Common is 5 points, Rare 25 points, and Legendary 50 points. Once you reach 100 points, you are guaranteed a rare blade. If you receive a rare blade before reaching 100 points, the points will reset. So it is possible you will not receive your group's blades early in the game, or none of them. If you do hit the 100 points, you will receive one of the 3 blades from your save files group. In this case, you would receive Percival, Azami, or Adenine. If you manage to hit the full 100 points again, you would be guaranteed one of the 2 blades from the group you do not have. Also, there is a bit of an error with how the save group placements are calculated, so it is not possible to be in group 5 at all. If you'd like the details on what the rates are for each blade within each group, and what rare blades are in each group, along with efficient ways to grind core crystals, please look in the video description. Keep in mind, there are endgame / postgame spoilers. Note, for the blade rates page there are spoilers. It even says so on the page. You have to click it to reveal it, and I recommend beating the game before clicking any of them. Manage blades. Here you can see a list of all your required blades. Notice the faces on the top left of a blade's image. This is who the blade is bonded to. This is also where you can use overdrive protocols to switch a blade's driver. Select a blade. Customize blade brings you to its blade setup menu, and use overdrive lets you switch the blade's driver. Simply select who you want to give it to. Just remember, this consumes an overdrive protocol. Blades can also be released from this menu. Press X. Releasing blades can net you some rewards, as well as freeing up space, because it is possible to fill up your blade list. Be aware of that, you blade pulling machines. You can also release rare blades, but heavens knows why you would do this, but you can. If you do though, you can reacquire the rare blade by pulling it again. Its pull rate even changes to 1. You could release a rare blade to try to get it on a character of your choosing, but trust me, it is not worth it. Releasing a blade can get you boosters. It is not guaranteed, but you can get them. Blades can also be sorted here. Press minus. There are tons of options, and the list will only grow as you have a bigger variety of blades. The list as favorite and delist works from here as well. Press the right stick button. The last blades option, Blade Album. Here you can view all rare blades. Putting the cursor on a question mark will show you the blade silhouette. A little sneak peek. Select the blade you have acquired, and you can see the English and Japanese voice actors, also known as VA, and the artwork's illustrator. You may recognize some of these names. There are a total of 52 blades in the Blade album. 52 unique characters. Some you will get through playing the story. Most must be pulled via core crystals. Some will come from quests. One can be purchased with gold, the in-game currency. One you'll very likely have to grind for. 6 come from the DLC. 7 are only available in New Game Plus. And 1 is only pullable after having a save file marked with this medal, indicating you have beat the game. If you would like information on how to acquire all 52 blades, although I recommend playing through the game at least once or getting to the end game before looking them up, I only say that because I find it fun to be surprised and not knowing what I'll get. Please check the video description. It is heavy spoilers on that page. I warned you. Most of these blades have more content tied to them as well, like heart-to-hearts and quests. When I say quests, I do not mean to unlock them. I mean, once you get the blade, it has associated quests, and what you have to do to get them or complete them can vary, and some are more obvious than others. I want you to understand. There is a variety of content tied to various blades. It is insane how much there is to do in this game. Before we leave the blade section, a reminder to check your button key. No, not those buttons. Those are some big buttons. No, at the bottom of the screen. How can you let those distract you? Really? That's why you pay attention to the screen again? Fine. You can press ZR to zoom in and ZL to zoom out on the image and listen to a few voice lines. Also, there are voice lines for all these unique blades in combat. Each party member even says their names. Before I move on to the next topic, I said I would talk about a spoiler. Skip right now if you don't want it. This is a big spoiler. In this menu, you can see who each blade is bonded to. As I said, only the character whose face appears with each blade is allowed to equip it in the Engage Blades menu. But once you unlock Rex's Master Driver form, he can now equip any blade, no matter who it is bonded to. When you equip a blade to him that belongs to someone, you will see this message. Engage this blade that is bonded with another driver. This action is reversible. Notice Rex's face does not appear next to Bridget.
I will do my best to prove my worth.
To have Bridget go back to Morag, simply unequip Bridget from Rex. Or if you go to Morag and then select Bridget while she is still with Rex, you get this message. Disengage this blade from the master driver and restore it to its original driver. Select yes.
I will do my best to prove my worth.
Merc Group, short for Mercenary Group. Dispatch blades on Merc missions. The theme for this menu even feels adventurous. The center of the screen is the symbols for each city. Each city has its own list of mercenary missions. Your Merc level trying to hide over here on the left. I'll explain how this is leveled in a bit. Squad status. These are the squad or squads currently on mercenary missions. Can dispatch means you're not being efficient. Send out some blades. Select a city. There is the mission name, time required. This is how long you wait in real time. Before someone groans, there is so much stuff to do while this timer goes, you will be surprised how many Merc missions you will complete during a playthrough, if you're actually doing them, but it can still suck to wait sometimes. Below the list of missions is the mission requirements. Like you'll see in a moment, you send your bonded blades to do these Merc missions. These mission requirements tell you what type of blades must be sent on the mission. To the right is a description of the mission and all its rewards. Earn gold, experience, Merc points. These Merc points are the experience points for increasing your Merc level. There's even a unique blade that unlocks its key affinity rewards by raising the Merc level. Aux Cores, accessories, and contracts. These contracts are key items associated with different stores within the city. They make new items available in their respective stores. These new items are sometimes needed for quests, because you will need to acquire the items hidden behind these contracts. These contracts are rewards for these purple mercenary missions, and if you read the mission description, it will tell you if it is a mission for a specific blade. Select a mission. You have your blade list and the highlighted blades information, and on the right side is the new stuff. Blades to dispatch. Press A on a blade to place it in the dispatch list. You can send up to 6 blades per mission. Press B to remove a blade from the list. It places blades from left to right and removes them from right to left. You can also move the cursor to the dispatched blades and highlight one. Press X to remove that specific blade. The mission requirements, and the list of suggested field skills. For the mission requirements, it is in red. Once you highlight a blade that fits the requirement, it adds it to the count. The same goes for a suggested field skill, but the suggested field skill is not necessary for the mission. But if some blades that are added have these field skills, it lowers the total time the mission takes. Here's a chart for specifics about the blade mission icons. The blue mission icon is regular missions and can be repeated, but with reduced rewards if repeated. The purple, as I said, is missions associated with quests or rewards a store contract. They can't be repeated. This red exclamation mark is a missable mission, exclusive to a quest. I'm unsure if I've seen this before. Becomes unavailable if not unlocked or completed before the quest ends, or if a mutually exclusive option is chosen. Missions with indefinite durations will not end until an external condition is met. Those look like this, with a bunch of question marks for the mission duration. Notice it also says it requires a Zami, a specific unique blade that must be dispatched for this mission. I explained the mission requirements and suggested field skills, but for the field skills, each combined field skill level decreases the duration of the mission by 6%? I did not know the actual amount/percentage. You can really lower that timer. Note this description of how mission timer lowering works. For each level of a suggested skill in the group, the mission duration will be lowered by 6%, up to a maximum time reduction of 75%, rounded down to the minute. Unlike what the interface might suggest, the number of blades carrying these skills does not impact the mission, but rather the sum of skill levels across the multiple participating blades. This means multiple levels of a field skill on a single blade count. It does not matter how many blades are added for the suggested field skills. The game looks at which blades have the skill and calculates the time reduction based on the total levels of the skills. Here is 2 timers for Wolfric. One is Wolfric with Super Strength 1, and the other is Super Strength 3. The lowest possible mission duration can be reached with 12 or 13 combined skill levels, depending on the mission. Press X to begin mission as it says here below the dispatch blades. Any blades sent on a mission cannot be equipped by the party and used in combat. A cool detail this game does here. You see the crew's artwork lined up and zip off to the mission, but the team has a name based on the leader's name. But if you put a unique blade as the first blade of the crew, they make up their own team name, and there are voice lines for it.
We will be the Gungnir Wardens. Let's head out.
Just remember to have fun.
I've put specific blades as team leaders just to hear their team spiel. Then you can see the team leader and the mission timer under squad status. Merc mission complete. The crew is all here. You get the Merc mission rewards, and blades on the team will gain some trust points and have a chance for some of their affinity chart nodes to be acquired. Merc missions are a good source of progressing your blades without having to use them in combat. Some blade affinity chart unlocks are not affected by Merc missions though, like the indefinite conditions with the question marks, or if a heart-to-heart or a quest needs to be completed for a key affinity reward. Stuff like these will not be unlocked by sending blades on Merc missions. If you would like even more detailed information for mercenary missions, check the video description. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. Once you unlock Merc Group, be on the lookout for NPCs with this icon. You'll want to talk to them. Quest log. This is where your accepted quests are stored. Quest description and rewards. Press Y to view the quest's objective or objectives. Under quest objective, you will sometimes see a list of images for your characters or blades. That means they must be in the active party to progress the quest when you go to the necessary location or talk to the appropriate NPC. This pinkish feather indicates which quest is the currently tracked quest. This is the quest you can see when you press ZR for current objective. Current objective can only display information for one quest at a time, so if you do not remember where to go for the current main story quest, just deactivate the quest in your quest log. Then the current main story quest will display here. Or with current objective open, press Y, and then A to set the main story as the active quest. Active quests make new icons appear on the map. First, quests themselves appear on the map as question marks. This means you have not accepted the quest yet. Also, we will be going over this whole skip travel menu after quest stuff. When a quest is active, you will see exclamation points on the compass and the map. This is showing you where your quest target is located. Items that are this red bag are quest items, and they have the exclamation mark. Main quest objectives will be red with double exclamation marks on the compass and map. Be on the lookout for all kinds of quests, and sometimes you'll run into one when you least expect it. Time for the skip travel menu. This is the world map. All regions are listed on the left, and what they look like on the right. Regions in this game are enormous creatures people live on. The pink is the currently highlighted region, and this yellow symbol is showing which region you're currently on. Select the region, then select the sub-area. As you travel around areas and progress the game, you will unlock new sub-areas and skip travel locations. This symbol is the icon for skip travel locations, also known as fast travel. You also gain a bit of experience for finding them. On the left is the list of all fast travel points, and the cursor moves to it on the map when selected. There may be moments when you see skip travel options in blue like this. This means that the area is currently not accessible, usually due to the current tide. I mentioned this near the beginning of the video. There is high tide and low tide. This feature is unlocked by playing the story. Go to an inn and choose long rest to change the tide. Let's go over the rest of these icons. Each can be turned off or on with X for filter off or filter on. L and R let you cycle between the different icons. Location is the name of the location. Simple. These are also added to the map as you discover them. Collection point. You can collect various items from these glowy points you'll find on your travels. There are multiple item types, but it's not very important to know each of these symbols because usually you're asked for an item by name. But you have wood, fruit, plants, technology of some kind, hence the screw, crystals/rocks/ore, fish, and insects. There are tons of collection points everywhere, hence why they're turned off. These items are needed to craft Aux Cores, complete quests, and maybe some other things you may find when playing the game. If an equipped blade has a field skill that matches the collection point, you will receive extra drops. I'll talk about this more in a bit. Also, a little tip. Any collection point will respawn when loaded back into the map, so collect a point fast travel, and it will be available again.
Off we go. What will we find?
Come out, come out.
Flora heals an aching.
Heart to heart. These are conversational moments between specific characters. You can earn some trust for the blade or blades. A tip: after you stay at an inn, a character may talk to Rex in a mini-scene. They are pointing you to a heart-to-heart you have not done. Some heart-to-hearts are only activated after staying at an inn. Check the video description for a link to all heart-to-hearts. Salvage point. I'll go over this one and field skills in more detail later, but salvage points are for Rex to dive beneath the Cloud Sea. Yes, that is the sea of nothingness that the creature continents walk through, and find treasure chests, items, and enemies. Shops. Makes all shops noticeable on the map, and depending on a particular circumstance, you could see a green shop icon. This will be explained in the New Game Plus section, near the end of the video. Current objective. Your current main story quest objective. Quest start. Oh, aptly named. It displays all obtainable quests on the map. Last is field skills. Displays each of them on the map. If you activate a field skill and you fulfill its conditions, or not, it will display on your map, along with its unlocked conditions. If they sparkle, you've already completed it. Remember, these are the field skills on a blade's information tabs. Let's get into the details of salvaging. This feature is only for Rex, since it is his profession. Walk up to a salvage point and press A. Choose a cylinder to use. This determines the rate of rare items dropping. Stores with this icon sell cylinders. You'll primarily be purchasing cylinders. Select a cylinder. Rex's outfit goes into diving mode, and you must complete 3 quicktime events before the dive. Press the button in the center when the ring enters the light blue section to succeed. Pressing the wrong button or pressing it at the wrong time counts as a fail. How successful you are at these QTEs will affect how good your rewards are going to be. There is another factor, but I'll get to that in a moment. There are multiple animations that can play based on your results. Here are Rex's dives.
Onwards. Whoa!
And here he is back with his haul.
This looks like it'll be something good. That could have gone better.
Note, this is not all the animations you can get, and finding high rarity chests feels quite good. I'm only not showing those because I'm trying to avoid spoiling something. Any enemies pulled up during the salvage will instantly aggro you. Note, the items on the ground will disappear over time like any other item drops in the game. Be sure to run over these as soon as possible. The enemy and chest, if they appear, will stay, but if you reload by turning off the game or fast traveling, they will despawn. Higher rarity chests can spawn with better cylinders as well. There is another type of store associated with salvaging, the ones with this scale icon. You can exchange your salvage items for gold. On the left is item set names. Below the list is the amount of gold and items you will receive. To the right is the items required for the set. You can see the rarity of the item, how many you own, and how many the set needs for each item, and this section in red. Current/required is how many of the total items you currently have. White name sets you have all items for, and grayed out ones you do not. Press A on a set to exchange the items for the mentioned rewards. There are multiple of these shops throughout the game, and boosters seem to be the only item reward from these. You may also come across some shops with this icon that mention a salvaging rank needing to be high enough for them to give you the time of day. The salvaging rank feature is a bit hidden. This current clip is how to find the NPC that increases your salvager rank. Speak to Mochichi. This NPC will charge you a small fee to be ranked for your salvaging endeavors. You earn points based on the icon displayed after salvaging. Here are the points. Once you reach these amounts of points and talk to Mochichi and pay for the evaluation, your salvager rank will increase. Note, this is a cumulative amount of points. Once you hit baby level Salvager with 15 points, you only need 15 more points to reach the next rank. There are rewards for reaching new ranks as well. See the video description for the link with all this information. A few details about field skills. When getting items from a collection point, one of your blades might cut in with a voice line. This is due to a blade's field skill. As I said earlier, if this activates, you get another instance of items, and only works with currently equipped blades. A few examples of field skills are botany, plants, entomology, insects, ichthyology, fish, electric mastery, wind mastery, and dark mastery. There are many more field skills and unique ones that only unique blades possess, or only one blade in the entire game has. There are various places within the game for these field skills to be used, such as collection points, as mentioned, unlock new paths for new locations to visit, completing quests, and gaining access to chests. Just remember the blade must be equipped to a member of the party for its field skills to count. Some field skill locations require multiple levels of a combination of field skills. Focus on leveling the field skills for your blades to make this easier, instead of trying to equip multiple blades with only level 1 versions of these field skills. Remember, you can hover over the field skill nodes in the Affinity chart menu to check its unlock conditions. Note, when you unlock new nodes on a blade's Affinity chart, it does not become active until you visit the blade's Affinity chart page. If you do not do this, it will still count as the lower level. I just do this after an Affinity chart notification shows up, to check for any unlocks. The different item shops. Blacksmiths. Buy core chips, the game's weapons for your blades. These stores will always have this icon. The sell option for all stores let you sell any type of items you have. The region and its current development level in the top right. How much money you have. Some stores will have new UI elements here. The weapon to the right is the currently equipped one, and the one to the left is the currently highlighted core chip from the item list. You can cycle through all currently equipped blades with ZL or ZR, and the blade's information window is here with all its pages. A green stat is an increase in stats, and a red number is a decrease. You can also see what the number will change to. As you progress the story, new stores you come across will sell stronger core chips, so be sure to check what the local blacksmiths are selling. You'll find various core chips on your adventure, whether they be monster drops or from chests. Be sure to check your equipment from time to time. Also, any core chips you find out in the wild will have the store icon next to the item's name. The accessory stores have this ring-looking icon. In the top right is a new piece of information. This is how many accessories you have in your possession. It caps at 900! You won't fill this unless you have been grinding. Then the item list with item descriptions at the bottom. You will find a variety of accessories in a variety of stores. Aux Core stores. This is their icon. These are basically accessories for blades. In the top right, you'll notice there is no money. You pay in collection point item drops instead of money. You can see how many Aux Cores you have. They cap at 500. On the left is Aux Cores. Notice how the store icon and your Aux Core icon in the list are different than the icon here in the Aux Cores list. You gain these uncrafted Aux Cores as item drops. You then come to one of these stores to craft the Aux Core. The right side shows you which materials are needed to craft the currently highlighted Aux Core. This list does change for various Aux Cores. Below materials needed is amount, current/required. This number shows you how many items you must select from the materials needed list. Press A on an Aux Core to craft it, then select items from the materials needed list. Some Aux Cores have a long list of items. Be sure to scroll the list in case you own tons of a particular item. Press R to add an item to the craft, and press L to remove an item. The black bar below amount fills as you add items. Note, some Aux Cores require quite specific or rarer materials. You will need an amount of each item in the list. No exceptions or replacements. We're now getting into the pouch item stores. Staple foods have this icon, and the main stat they provide is max HP to damage barrier. Note, each pouch item's first buff is its main buff, meaning that item type will always have this buff as the first buff. The numbers to it can vary though. Higher rarity pouch items give more buffs. 3 buffs is the most a single pouch item can have. Duration time can vary as well, via various items. Veggie stores have this icon and they give HP recovery, so you will gain this % more HP when being healed. Meats reduce physical damage taken. Seafood reduces ether damage taken. Desserts have an amazing buff. They recharge arts by an amount each second, so your arts recharge without you having to auto-attack. Your arts will be usable more often, basically. Drinks give a percentage buff to party gauge gain. Your party gauge will go up more per action that increases it. You'll get access to rezzing down party members and chain attacks more quickly. Instruments, another really good one. Specials recharge by a set amount each second. It's the same as desserts, but for specials. Art, its icon has a nopon in it. Has Tora's hair. This pouch item increases affinity gain by a percentage. Get that blue affinity line to gold faster while in combat. Literature, anyone like reading books? These increase damage dealt by specials by a percentage. These can be nice to stack some extra damage. Board games. Too bad there are none to actually play in this game. Real-life board games are fun and are infinitely more varied than most people realize. They give a percentage increase to blade arts effects. In case you don't remember what these are, blade arts are these AI automatically used passive buffs blades have on this blade info page. Use this effect to make these buffs stronger. Cosmetics increase the base affinity by a flat amount, so when you start combat, your blue affinity line between blade and driver already has some affinity applied, making you need less affinity to get to that max gold line. Textiles lowers affinity loss by a percentage. Your affinity does lower during combat at times. Use textile pouch items to reduce that loss. Salvager stores have the cylinder icon. Buy cylinders to do salvage dives. Now that we got through the pouch item stores, let's talk about deeds. You can unlock deeds for many of these pouch item stores. Once unlocked, they must be purchased, and they provide a permanent buff to something for your party. Unlock a deed by buying one of each item within a store. Then leave the store, open it again, and its deed will be available. Note, not all items are available immediately for every store. Unlock new items in a store by increasing a region's development level and completing certain Merc missions. By certain Merc missions, I'm referring to missions that reward a contract. Do you remember me saying that these contracts unlock new items in their respective stores? A list of all store deed benefits is on screen, so look away if you don't want to be spoiled, but I'll be sharing some of them. You will be getting permanent benefits to things like combat experience awarded in combat, increased item drop collection range, more gold earned via combat, increased discovery rate, that is item drop rate, increased running speed, decreases party gauge drain when out of combat, and more. If you would like to view the deeds for each store and what they reward you, there is a link in the video description. You'll see some shops with the Scales of Exchange. These shops reward you with gold and boosters as rewards. Specifically, these items are all salvaging drops. The list of all item sets on the left, and the right is how much of what items you need to get the rewards. Down here is the gold and items received for the set. These trophy icon shops. They are NPCs that do not fit within the purview of all the shops I've mentioned so far. Really do go speak to these NPCs, as they may have interesting things available. A couple of examples for you. You'll see this NPC early in the game. This guy. It says he is a courier. Doing the most of what he asks will unlock a quest to do later. And right next to him is Sandrin. He has the exchange icon, but he refuses to do business with you until you raise your scavenger rank. Remember, the Nopon Mochichi is the one who raises your rank. The item list. Check all currently possessed items. There are tabs for all item types. Press L or R to switch between them. It shows an item's sale price. This is how much it sells for at a shop and how many you own. Below the item list, you can see the item descriptions and obtained. This is the region you can get this item. When hovered over an accessory, a new UI element appears on the top right. It shows how many accessories you have and the total amount you can have. It caps at 900 accessories, and Aux Cores caps at 500. Be sure to check whether you are capped on a specific item or accessories, since if you go over the cap, they just disappear into the ether. Note, use this menu to check how much you have of items like weaponry for noobs and overdrive protocols. It gets easy to spend these items without knowing how many you have, especially overdrive protocols. System. There are 3 options: save, change time, and options. Save game, of course, saves your game. There is no autosave feature. You must manually save. It shows the current team lineup, time of save, the date and the time you saved. This is a 24-hour clock. Game progress is which story chapter you're on. time played, and the location you saved at. Once you beat the game, this medal appears. Note, you cannot have multiple saves per profile. Each profile has its own singular save. A lot of Nintendo Switch games work this way, so create multiple profiles if you want more saves. Change time lets you change the time of day in-game. Current time on the left and the clock you manipulate on the right. Left stick or D-pad left or right to change the time. This symbol indicates what time of day it is: night, morning, midday, etc. The options menu. There are 4 options: camera settings, sound settings, display settings, and game settings. Camera settings are the things you would expect, inverting the camera and camera turn/response speeds. The odd one is gradient correction. Adjust the automatic behavior of the camera when traversing gradients. Someone who knows about cameras, tell me exactly what this is supposed to mean, please. Sound settings. Change the volume levels for everything: cutscene voices, game background music, game sound effects, and more. By the way, I suggest turning the BGM down and making sure cutscene voices are as high as possible. You can also turn subtitles on or off, and has voice acting in English or Japanese. Display settings. Change the brightness/darkness. Game settings. Difficulty level. You get easy and normal, but if you've purchased the DLC, you get Bringer of Chaos and Custom, along with some other new options in this menu. Custom difficulty first. Adjust any of these settings. There's a description of the highlighted option on the bottom. Enemy attack power. Affects how much damage enemies do to you. Moves to the left to lower the damage and right to increase it. Enemy attack frequency. How often enemies attack you in combat. Enemy maximum HP. How much HP enemies have. Enemy debuff duration. Affects how long enemy debuffs your party is hit with will last. Player blade combo buffer time. Increase or decrease the time you have to do the next stage of a blade combo. Party gauge gains. This affects how much the party gauge goes up via your actions during combat. So you can make the party gauge increase more quickly or slow it down. Player special recharge rate. Affects how fast the special gauge recharges during combat. Player health restoration. Affects how much heals affect party members. The higher it is, the more healing a character will receive. Chain attack damage multiplier. This affects how much the chain attack multiplier goes up during chain attack. Reach higher multiplier numbers more easily for more damage. Ascended state party gauge use. Affects how fast or slow the party gauge depletes, because it does deplete when not in combat. Now, let me say something about Bringer of Chaos difficulty. If it is your first time playing this game, and you have access to the DLC, and you accept the DLC to be added to your save, because yes, you do have to go to the menu and accept any piece of the DLC to use it or play it, etc. Do not play on Bringer of Chaos for a first playthrough. Do not do it. It is so difficult, you will be looking for strategies on how to even get past the first 2 bosses. It really requires you to understand the combat systems and abuse some tech I explained earlier. But if you want to give it a shot yourself, I won't stop you. Auto battle. Your party members are already AI controlled, so this option will make the player controlled character fight automatically. Automate special button challenges. Enable this to not have to do the QuickTime events during special usage. Enemy aggression. Toggle whether foes pick a fight. EXC. Accept, salvage, unique, boss, and quest foes. If this is enabled, it makes enemies not aggro you as you run next to them, but this excludes what it mentions here. Enemies appearing when you salvage, unique, the named enemies out in the world, bosses from story quests, and quest foes that spawn due to a quest. All of these will still aggro you no matter what this option is set to. Special BGM. When enabled, special battle music will play with certain blades in the party. Expansion Pass. Note, all this DLC initially came out in parts, but now you'll just receive all these things for purchasing the pass. There will be spoilers here as this is DLC. What's in here? A lot actually. Let's go through this somewhat rapid fire. DLC item distribution 1. War chest contribution from Bana. 50,000 Monet. Super useful pouch item sample. Cream orange paratha. Gift from Mr. Rui. 10 silver cylinders for salvaging. Newbie driver's core crystal set. 5 common core crystals. There will be more core crystals from this DLC. DLC item distribution 2. Driver essentials set. 10 rare core crystals. 1 Legendary Core Crystal, and 3 Overdrive Protocols for switching a blade's bonded driver. Upgrade parts for Poppi. 30,000 Ether Crystals for upgrading Poppi. Pyra's favorite thing. Generosity Tea. Mia's favorite thing. Ardanian Bear Carving. DLC Quest Distribution 1. DLC Quest List. Distribution 1. These are DLC quests, and the description at the bottom tells you where to go to start the quest. Note, I've not done any of these DLC quests, and I would not want to tell you what they are anyway. A little surprise for you if you decide to play the game and get the DLC. DLC Item Distribution 3. Driver Essential Set 2. 10 Rare Core Crystals. 1 Legendary Core Crystal, and 1 Overdrive Protocol. Tora's favorite thing. 3 Juicy Samad. Poppi Alpha's favorite thing. 3 Fizz Juice. Charming Driver Gear. 1 Auto Balancer. DLC Item Distribution 4. Upgrade parts for Poppi 2. 30,000 Ether Crystals. Driver Essential Set 3. 3 Overdrive Protocols, and 8 Legendary Core Crystals. DLC Quest Distribution 2. DLC Quest List Distribution 2. Another set of quests. DLC Blade Distribution 1. DLC Blade List Distribution 1. The first DLC Blade. The quest is Shiny New Power. This is the quest for Poppi Buster. DLC Quest Distribution 3. DLC Quest List Distribution 3. The third set of quests. Challenge Battle Mode. Gift from Zuo. Nopon Summons. This unlocks the challenge mode, and extra game options unlocks 3 new options added to the game settings menu. This unlocks Auto Battle, Automate Special Button Challenges, and Enemy Aggression. DLC Quest Distribution 4. DLC Quest List Distribution 4. 5 new quests. This DLC train is still going. DLC Blade Distribution 2. DLC Blade List Distribution 2. A firecracker of a gal. This unlocks the Blade Crossette. New difficulty modes. Gift from Zuo 2. New difficulty levels. This is what unlocks Bringer of Chaos and custom difficulty settings. For those of you that are insane, if you want to start a new save on Bringer of Chaos, you have to get to this point of the game and access the menu, go to Expansion Pass, New difficulty modes, and accept this DLC. Nopon Invitation. This unlocks new items at the Nopon Stone Exchange within the Challenge Mode area. There is a link to these unlocked items in the video description. Challenge Battle Update. Gift from Zuo 3. Nopon Summons Part 2. This unlocks the new Challenge Mode options Otherworldly Fighter and Poisoned Paradise. Nopon Invitation Part 2. Also has a link in the video description. DLC Blade Distribution 3. DLC Blade List Distribution 3. A Boy of Two Swords. This unlocks the DLC Blade Corvin. The final item distribution. Final item distribution list. 15 Legendary Core Crystals, 3 Overdrive Protocols, and 10 Love Source. Note, Love Source rewards 3000 Trust on use. Remember, Trust is how you unlock new rows of nodes in a blade's affinity chart. Not for every blade, but most of them. This item can also be crafted after completing the quest Making Love Source, which is acquired from DLC Quest Distribution 3 from the Expansion Pass. Last, let's go over New Game Plus. New Game Plus is when you beat a game and start the game over again at the beginning. Many games add new stuff for doing this. How much new content varies from game to game. Note, there are spoilers in here. I suggest beating the game before viewing this section of the video. What carries over into New Game Plus? Drivers' levels. Your characters keep their levels. Equipment and advancement of drivers and blades. Drivers and blades keep all their upgrades like affinity charts and weapon points, and any weapons, aux cores, core chips, and accessories. Bonded blades. All your unlocked blades are still there and bonded to their respective drivers. Obtained gold and items. You're keeping all of it. Area Dev levels and Merc group rank. Events, theater, and unique monster defeat status. Playtime. Additional features in New Game Plus. Bond with certain blades from Torna. In New Game Plus, you get the chance to pull 7 new blades. You have a chance to pull Akos, Mikhail, and Petroka as blades. The blades they use during the story are available to pull as well. Abrona, Cressidas, and Perdido. The 7th is Malice's blade Sever. meet certain blades from Torna in the game world, and bond with them. They get heart-to-hearts that include them. All blades can be dispatched on Merc missions. Certain blades could not be sent on Merc missions before, like Pyra and Mithra. Now, they all can go. Unlock drivers' hidden affinities to develop them further. In New Game Plus, each driver gets a second affinity page for even more buffs. Lower characters' levels when resting at an inn, and pocket the EXP difference as bonus EXP. Going to an inn has a new option for increasing or lowering a character's level. When you lower the level, it stores the EXP so you can get your levels back if you want. But the experience can be used for something else. The next thing in this list. Exchange bonus experience for special items. Do you remember the green store icons I brought up during the skip travel section of the video? These green icons are NPCs that let you purchase special items with your extra experience points. Check the video description for a list of these NPCs and their items. They sell some good stuff. An example, you can buy an accessory expander kit. This lets characters equip one extra accessory, making it 3 accessories. And there is an NPC in the Kingdom of Tantal that sells overdrive protocols for 1 million experience. Remember, there are only 3 you can find through chests within the world. The rest must be earned by completing a character's affinity chart, or releasing a 4-crown common blade with a completed affinity chart. Unlock Zeke's Eye of Shining Justice. This is Unleash Shining Justice in Zeke's New Game Plus accessible affinity chart. Warnings for New Game Plus. All quests, heart-to-hearts, and skip travel points will be reset. Completed Merc missions will be reset. If a currently dispatched blade is necessary for story progression, they will be removed from the Merc group. Meaning if a blade is needed for a story quest, they will be ripped from the mercenary mission you sent them on. Any blades engaged with Rex using his master driver ability at the game's end will return to their original drivers. Makes sense, since this is unlocked for Rex much later into the story. You won't have this when starting the story over from the beginning. Rock, Aegean, and the unnamed Core Crystal blade will be made available again as the story progresses. These blades can't be used until you reach their specific story moments. When you save after starting New Game Plus, save data from your first playthrough will be overwritten. Since the Nintendo Switch only allows 1 save per profile, this is a given. If you start New Game Plus, know you can't go back to your endgame save. Being able to have multiple saves on one profile would have made my life easier for this video. I had to use 4 different saves. Now, do you understand Xenoblade Chronicles 2's combat and mechanics? Remember, there are links in the video description for all the game's text tutorials that I had to take screenshots of as I played through the entire game because some reason the game does not already save them for you, and I hope you all appreciate my sacrifice. Enemy chevron colors, stat differences based on enemy levels compared to your character level, all blade combo routes, fusion combos, pouch expander kits, Poppi part manuals, Poppi cutie pie, Tiger, overdrive protocols, how to find and earn them, how to acquire all rare blades, how to farm core crystals, all mercenary missions, all heart-to-hearts, how to increase Salvager rank, and shop deeds and rewards. Thank you for sticking around for, 3 hours? If you can't get enough of my voice and need me speaking into your ear for even more time, 1, you're insane, and 2, you can watch more guides in the playlist to the left. Hit the like button if you found this guide useful, and click that subscribe button if you would like to see more videos like this. Until next time.